very good morning to you. It's 6 a.m. on Monday the 22nd of June. BBC Radio Norfolk News with Janet Harnden.
Good morning. 40 people are recovering after a chemical leak in a swimming pool at a Norfolk holiday park. The pool at the Wild Duck in Belton near Great Yarmouth has now been declared safe. Yesterday afternoon, though, it was evacuated as holidaymakers, including young children, struggled with the fumes. Inspector Kirsty Brooks from Norfolk Police was at the scene.
There was 40 people who were assessed by ambulance. The injuries are very low-key. They're classified as walking wounded, but ambulance have taken them all to 3 local hospitals, to Ipswich, Norfolk and Norwich and the James Paget Hospital, just to ensure that there's no long-term effects from the gases that were inhaled.
A new Europe-wide police unit is being set up to tackle terrorists who use social media. Europol is looking into the group Islamic State and plans to target its ringleaders, as Elizabeth Glinker reports.
The new unit will begin its work next month and will monitor social media to try and identify young people thought to be at risk of grooming. It'll also aim to find and remove the accounts which distribute IS propaganda. The move is in response to growing concerns about Islamic State's ability to recruit from established Muslim communities across Europe. A total of 700 British people are thought to have travelled to the territories now controlled by IS. The European police agency Europol believes
Stop the clock! We're on the radio! That was excitement, wasn't it? Well done, Kelly Betts, for saving BBC local radio. That was fun, wasn't it? New system? What new system, guys? Here we go. It's funny to see people running around like headless chickens, and I'm just sat here going, if it doesn't start in 15 minutes' time, we're allowed to go home early. Damn. In fact, damn you, Betts. Damn you, Boyle.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's just after 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: lorry drivers warn over stowaways in their vehicles, motorcyclist killed in Buckinghamshire, and Watford agree club record fee for Argentine winger.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lorry drivers in the 3 counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. Excuse me. Last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire over the space of 2 days. In one case, a lorry driver alerted the police on the M1. In another, people were rounded up in a field near to the Toddington service station. These drivers say they and their colleagues face a constant battle.
Coming up the M20, he had all this banging in the lorry, and he immediately phoned the police, and the police met him, escorted him to the police station. They opened the back doors up and there was 11 inside.
I think there's a lot of politics going on with it, because you'll have a spell where it's just like rife and no one seems to be monitoring it, and then it seems to get clamped down on and they're like right on the case.
A motorcyclist has died after a collision in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. The man in his 70s was riding a Honda which was in collision with a Ford Fiesta just before midday on the A413 Amersham Road just outside Chalfont St Giles. Police are appealing for witnesses. Britain's largest nursing union has warned that thousands of foreign nurses could be forced to leave the UK under new immigration rules. The Royal College of Nursing says a new pay threshold, which means non-European workers will have to return home after 6 years if they're not earning at least £35,000, will cause chaos for the NHS. Dr Peter Carter is from the RCN.
Most of those nurses are working in acute hospital wards or care homes where there's already a shortfall in staff. So you're talking about an under-pressurised area of nursing which will be further compromised by this.
An emergency summit will be held in Brussels later to try to stop Greece defaulting on its debts and exiting the euro. New proposals to end the crisis put forward by Greece yesterday will be considered. Residents in Leighton Buzzard say the Church of England hasn't acted quickly enough to prevent neglected horses from dying on their land. The newly introduced law on fly grazing means abandoned horses can now be dealt with by the landowner. But Sarah, who runs the Leighton Buzzard Horse Action Group, believes the church has a duty to do more.
Landowners, in our opinion, have a responsibility for their land and the animals that are on that land, whether legally or illegally. I think morally they need to take the high ground with this. If the church are not acting correctly and morally, what chance do the rest of us have, really?
A man from Stevenage scaled Westminster Abbey yesterday in a Father's Day protest. Fathers for Justice say Bobby Smith was one of two men who made the protest before climbing down after several hours. In sport, Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for Argentine winger Diego Perotti with Italian side Genoa. And in cycling, Germany's Lisa Brenner won the women's tour after finishing fourth in yesterday's final stage from Marlow to Hemel Hempstead. The weather, some rain this morning, sunny this afternoon, still a chance of heavy showers though, a maximum temperature 18 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
That's the way, I like it. Remember, guys, nothing you hear in the next 3 hours matters. You know, it will matter. Aha! I have in my hand a lead. Yes, a lead. Imagine that. Morning, guys. It's Monday and... you know, sometimes it's hard to get back into that work vibe on a Monday and... We're just going to slowly ease our way into it. How's about that, yes? You're going to ease your way into the week with me? Why not? Let's just chill out. Coming up on the show, Justin Daly talking about stuff. Kelly Betts off microphone. And Boyle getting right on my wick. Usual. Want to take part? We're down the rabbit hole, guys. 03459 455 555. New number. You're more than welcome.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
More than welcome.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right, I'm going to plug in my new toy while you listen to this. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. We're down the rabbit hole. Oh, I've been sent a new jingle by a kid. Someone said, my kid's a big fan of your show. He's recorded a jingle for you. I've not listened to it. Sight unseen. I may live to regret this.
Iain, you're an idiot.
Sorry?
Okay.
No.
Iain, you're an idiot.
Well, that's just rude, Justin.
Wow.
That kid, I don't condone violence against children. We don't hit little people, but that kid needs a slap.
Unbelievable stuff. Absolutely incredible.
How did that sneak through the system? Disappointing. All right.
You okay?
I'm wounded. I'm a human being, Justin. I know I'm a tough guy, but on the radio, I'm a human being, mate, and I'm wounded. Let's crack on with this and never mention it again. Last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire over the space of just 2 days, having been carried to the area in the back of a lorry. In one case, the driver called police from the M1. In the other, a group of people was caught running through fields in Toddington. Doesn't it sound romantic? The truckers face prosecution regardless of whether they knew there was somebody there. Justin, you've been talking to drivers about this, haven't you?
I have, and do you know what's absolutely fascinating about this? Every single lorry driver I spoke to them on Friday about this, it's either happened to them or it's happened to people that they know. Every single person had a story about illegal immigrants somehow managing to get into their lorry. Here's what those drivers had to say. Burgess, you're from Lithuania. Now, when you come into the UK, do you often have a problem with illegal immigrants in the back of your lorry? Has it happened to you?
Yes, it happened many times.
How many have you found in the back of your lorry here? The most that you found in one go?
4. And 1 between the lorry and the cab.
Between your lorry and your cab?
Yeah, where is the leads? He was run up, when lorry was moving.
Again, another lorry driver here. Thankfully, it hasn't happened to you, but your friend had a really, really bad experience. Tell us what happened to your friend.
Well, he was coming back from Spain, actually, and he got to the French customs, and he went through the X-ray machine there. The French says, yeah, you're okay, you're clear to go, and came through to the English customs, went through the gas thing where they test the CO2 levels, and he says, yeah, you're okay there. Coming up the M20, he heard all this banging in the lorry, and he immediately phoned the police, and the police met him, escorted him to the police station. They opened the back doors up, and there was 11 inside.
Wow. 11 of them?
Yeah, so, I mean, fortunately he did hear it, and he phoned the police, and nothing else was done about it to him because he could have incurred a massive fine.
It's getting worse at the moment. It goes through spells until they clamp down. Then what you end up doing is like the border controls in France will end up sort of having a spell where they're just not tolerating anything and they're on it. And then there's a spell where they're letting it go. And I think there's a lot of politics going on with it because you'll have a spell where it's just like rife and no one seems to be monitoring it. And then it seems to get clamped down on and they're like right on the case. And
so things will get better, then they'll get worse again. It's almost like a cycle, isn't it?
It's like a cycle, yeah. And then obviously there seems to be a season where there seems to be a free-for-all at the moment where everyone seems to be just chancing it at the moment, you know, sort of going for it. So it is a big headache, especially when you've got a liability of fines.
Dealey, excellent stuff as per usual.
Thank you.
I want you to work hard this week.
Boss, I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to put something out there straight away.
Hey,
and,
go on then, fella, yeah.
This may sound stupid, but...
hang on a second. You saying something that may sound stupid? I don't believe a word of it.
OK, the squirrels here in Dunstable.
What?
The squirrels in Dunstable.
No, he's right. It does sound stupid.
Yeah, no, hang on. Just bear with me here. The squirrels in Dunstable.
Yes, mate.
Are they the most arrogant in the UK? Because this morning I'm here in Dunstable and do you know what? There's 2 or 3 of them and they are goading me. They are coming up to me and as soon as I move, they run away. They are playing with my mind. I'm sorry, but these guys here, they've gone too far.
Squirrels, yeah?
Yeah, squirrels.
Speak to you later, Justin. Thank you. What the
Squirrels.
Yeah.
Arrogant squirrels.
That's what he's actually... gonna go and do?
Has anyone reset Justin after the weekend?
What on earth has happened to that guy? Good morning, Catherine Boyle.
Hey.
Good morning, Betsy.
Morning.
The only reason, Wendy and all the other 3CER listeners who hate this show is on, is because Kelly Betts, and who'd have thought it of her, Catherine, let's be honest, isn't our little girl doing well
She
for
pressed
herself?
the right buttons.
None of us could get the studio to work. We're sat here going, 15 minutes of more of Wally and we're allowed to go home early. That's the radio law.
Mm-hmm.
That's the radio law. And then Betsy got all clever and she fixed the computer. She turned it off, she turned it on, and it worked again.
I mean, that is the radio...
SWAT.
Exactly, the radio version of going to get the head teacher.
SWAT makes me wanna... Makes me want to shout. Right, let's have a bit of this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road, it's starting to look busy at the M25 junction 21A roundabout, but so far the motorways are still looking very quiet. No reports of any problems on the M25 so far. In Stevenage on Martins Way, there's a lane closed there for roadworks between Canterbury Way and Hitchin Road, so we're being told to expect delays there this morning. And in Princes Risborough on Longwick Road, there's some temporary traffic lights at Wellington Avenue, which could also cause some delays. On the train departure boards, the 6:34 train from Bedford to Sutton has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Right, where are we now? 6:16 of all times. It's Monday, the 22nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Lorry drivers in the Three Counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. A motorcyclist has died after a collision near Chalfont St Giles in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. And Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for another football player. I mean, really, what's your beef, guys?
BBC Music at Glastonbury.
Glastonbury, you're ready out there! Bringing you 6 stages.
Live.
On television, radio and online.
You can enjoy more of the world's greatest music festival however you choose.
BBC Music at Glastonbury.
Starts this Friday at bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury.
Here I go again. Watch me now, 'cause here I go again. I've been hurt so much before. I told myself, yes I did. No more, won't get hurt anymore. There I was, all by myself, doing alright, until I saw you last night. And I knew that here I go again. I can't help it, here I go again. Making the same mistakes, heading for more heartaches. What can I do when there's nothing I can do? I looked in your eyes and I knew that I was through. What's the use? I'll just give in, try as I may, and I do. I'll never win, baby, I'll never win. Now you're here, so close to me, I can't resist you. And I knew when I kissed you, I'm gonna say now, here I go again. Watch me now, 'cause here I go again. Falling in love, falling in love, falling in love, falling in love.
Iain Lee, you're an idiot.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Do you know what makes it worse?
Yeah.
The father condoning it.
I know.
What kind of man is that?
Well, I mean, I don't know who sent that in, because if I did, I would be reporting them to the SS, and I don't mean the social services. It's just set a bad tone, I think, for the morning. Yeah. It's just set an uncomfortable tone for the morning. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. We're down the rabbit hole this morning. Again, always looking for you to fake clips. If you want to phone up and, we've got this one.
It's people, guys. It's people. Let's just talk.
So we've got that, but if there's any others...
Say that.
Yeah, it's just...
It's like killing a bee with a bazooka.
What a soft-spoken gentleman. Now... Residents, here we go, guys. Dead horse story coming up. So, just press record and play now. Residents in Leighton Buzzard are outraged that the Church of England have allowed 9 neglected horses to die on their land. They've done worse. The newly introduced law on fly grazing means abandoned horses can now be dealt with by the landowner and gives horse owners 4 days to claim their animals. However, residents say the Church of England, as the landowners, aren't acting quickly enough to prevent these deaths. Catherine, you've got more on this. Why are these horses being left on the land?
Well, these horses are believed to be owned by travellers, and what they're doing is known as fly grazing. That's putting livestock on land without the landowner's permission. Local residents have told us that horses have been put into fields on Grovebury Road in Leighton Buzzard for at least 2 years now, and at one time up to 40 horses were being kept in those fields. There are currently 13 being kept in the field, although their number changes apparently on a weekly basis. The local residents are so concerned by the situation, they've set up an action group to try to get the church to do something.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be hearing from them later on. Not the church, they won't talk to us.
The church hate me. I mean, come on, guys. Really?
So far, 10 horses have died due to malnutrition, lack of proper care. The last horse was last week. Post-mortem is due to determine whether its death was also due to neglect, but it wouldn't be beyond the realms of imagination. In January, RSPCA officials attended the site after a concerned resident reported a dead foal in the field. They inspected the horses on the site and found them all to be severely underfed and unkempt. Several horses were removed.
You say?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Several horses were removed from the site at that point due to neglect, most of which had to be put down or have since died. And as well as malnutrition, the biggest problem is apparently parasites. Without proper care, horses can easily pick up this thing called small redworm that's believed to be the other cause of death for the 9 horses that have gone so far.
That's very sad. What can the church do within the law?
Well, the Control of Horses Act 2015 came into effect last month, which means the landowner can take control of any horses on their land after just 4 days. They're then free to keep, sell or rehome the horses as they see fit. The Act also makes the landowner responsible for the horses' welfare, which means that regardless of who owns those horses in the first place, the Church of England are responsible for their welfare and could give them to a charity if they chose to. Now, as I said, the Church of England won't be coming on this morning, but they did tell us that they are aware of the new change in the law. They also said the situation changes on a daily basis, but we're doing all we can as responsible landowners to work with the RSPCA to ensure we take our responsibilities seriously and act within the parameters of the new laws.
Can't the RSPCA do any more?
Well, they've told us that they're very concerned about what's going on at Grovebury Road, but they can only act within the law, and the law makes it really difficult for the RSPCA to remove any horse from the site unless an independent vet and the police are willing to support a case that animal welfare laws have been broken. So far, this has only happened in January, one case. With the help of the police, they were able to remove a few horses, but more have been placed there since. The RSPCA have told us that officers visit the area on an almost daily basis and have taken independent vets along.
You owe me an apology.
Me?
Yeah, you.
For what?
I'll tell you for why. Hang on. Because at the weekend, on Saturday night, I went out on a hot date with my sister. That sounds weird.
And it is.
But still, we went to see a show that when I told you I was going to go and see this show, you sneered at it. You went, "Oh, who wants to go and see that? That sounds rubbish. You're an idiot. I hate you."
No, I didn't say anything. I didn't say the idiot
You
bit.
did it in that voice.
Okay, well, it's my voice.
I went to see, dear listener, Jim Dale. Jim Dale. Kelly, I went to see Jim Dale. Jim Dale? Thank you.
No, Jim Dale.
I went to see Jim Dale. Kelly, let's just try. Who's Jim Dale?
He's from some comedy thing.
She's right.
She doesn't know.
She doesn't know, I know, but come on. She saved
That's
BBC.
why she went Jim Dale.
She saved, or in the opinion of some listeners, killed BBC Local Radio this morning.
Yeah.
I went to see Jim Dale, star of Digby, the biggest dog in the world, star of Pete's Dragon, star of Barnum on Broadway.
And now, according to that publicity picture, a Stephen Rhodes lookalike.
And a star of the Carry On films. He's brilliant. He was brilliant. He's 79 years old, right?
Yes. Is that a talent?
No, 79 years old, 2.5 hours long, stood up for the whole time. What that man was doing with his body was incredible. At one point, I leant over to my sister and went, he's the old-fashioned Michael Jackson. He was busting moves. Oh, man, it was so funny. And it was the last night. There was a weird bit, though. If anyone went and saw this show, it was brilliant. And it's just him talking about being in show business and stuff. And he's been doing it for 64 years. He must be tired. Thank you. He's been doing it for 64 years. Then there was a weird bit, right, when at the end, where people were throwing flowers on the stage. I thought, oh, that's nice. And then I looked closely at the people throwing the flowers on the stage. Theatre staff.
Of course they were. Who takes flowers? Who takes flowers?
And he'd obviously had it written in his contract that, yeah, I'll do it, but you've got to throw flowers at the end.
It wasn't a thing. It was supposed to be real, was it?
I think so,
Wow.
yeah.
Gosh.
It was flipping brilliant. It was being filmed for a DVD release, so I made sure I whistled a lot and laughed very loudly when there was silence in the rest of the theatre, so I'll be on the DVD.
Brilliant.
It was hilarious. It was one of the most uplifting things and I thought, I'll go because the reason I went, okay, is because Front Row were banging on about it, Samira was banging on about it on BBC Radio 4. And I remember when I was a kid, my mum saying, Jim Dale was on telly, and my mum saying, oh, he's really weird, that bloke. I was about 6. I said, what do you mean? She said, oh, I saw him being interviewed once and he was weird. Now, I think she means weird in the same way, in a similar way that Cat Stevens is now weird.
No, because that meant Muslim, didn't
Well,
it?
I think it just means turning their back on the norm.
Right.
Or in the majority. So Cat Stevens was weird for becoming a Muslim. I think Jim Dale was weird for going to work in America and having a slightly transatlantic accent.
Right.
I think that's what that meant. So I've been obsessed with it. He was brilliant. He was flipping brilliant. 79 years old.
Gosh. What
So
an age.
would you like to apologise to
I'm
me?
sorry you had to sit through that.
Oh, that's just unfair.
Not this record! Not this record! Not this record!
And you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. And you may find yourself in another part of the world. And you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. And you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. And you may ask yourself, how do I work this? And you may ask yourself, where is that large automobile? And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful house. And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again. After the money's gone, once in a lifetime, water flowing underground. Same as it ever was.
I've got the phone in.
Same as it ever was.
Got this morning's phone in, guys.
Same as it ever was.
People that look old now. David Byrne looks old now. 03459 455 555. People that look old now.
There is water at the bottom of the ocean. Under the water, carry the water. Remove the water at the bottom of the ocean. Remove the water from the bottom and water from the bottom. Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again, into the silent water, under the rocks and stones. There is water underground. Letting the days go by, let the water
Oh, the vibe is strong with this. The team are coming up with people already. 03459 455 555. People that look old now.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's starting to get busy now on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford, and the A1 is building up southbound from the Stirling Corner towards Apex Corner in Edgware. In Bishop Stortford on the A120 Bishop Stortford bypass, there's roadworks between the M11 junction 8 for the Birchhanger services and Stansted Road, so that could cause some delays. And also in Milton Keynes on the A41 Standing Way at the Kingston roundabout, there's roadworks there, so they're being told to expect delays there when it starts to get busier. On the train departure boards, the 6:34 train from Bedford to Sutton has been cancelled. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30, I'm Simon Oxley. Lorry drivers in the three counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. Last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire over the space of 2 days. A motorcyclist has died after a collision in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. The man in his 70s was riding a Honda which was in collision with a Ford Fiesta just before midday on the A413 Amersham Road, just outside Chalfont St Giles. And residents in Leighton Buzzard say the Church of England hasn't acted quickly enough to prevent neglected horses from dying on their land.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for Argentine winger Diego Perotti with Italian side Genoa. If the 26-year-old agrees to move to Vicarage Road, it will eclipse the £3.25 million paid for Nathan Ellington back in 2007. Elsewhere, England under-21s beat Sweden 1-0 to keep alive their European Championship hopes, and England play Norway tonight in the last 16 of the Women's World Cup. Lewis Hamilton leads Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg by just 10 points in the Formula One World Championship after Rosberg beat the Hertfordshire driver in the Austrian Grand Prix. Hamilton was on pole, but Rosberg passed him at the start and controlled the race to the end.
They changed something on the clutches, and for some reason it doesn't work on mine. The first 4 races were fantastic, and I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And anyways, they changed it, and ever since it's not been, I've been getting bad starts, so I've got to try to... Now, I'll go back with my engineers and I'll be battling to try and get it back to the way it was.
The American Jordan Spieth has won the US Open Golf 2 months after winning the Masters. The 21-year-old finished on 5 under to become the youngest winner of the US Open in 92 years after fellow American Dustin Johnson 3-putted on the last hole. Andy Murray won his 4th Queen's Club title, beating Kevin Anderson in straight sets. Earlier, Murray had to finish his rain-delayed semi-final with Wimbledon just a week away.
Obviously, you want to go into Wimbledon with matches under your belt on the grass. But I need to make sure I use the next 7 days as best as possible. It's been a long few months already, and I need to make sure I take a day or 2 off.
And in cycling, Germany's Lisa Brennauer won the Women's Tour after finishing 4th in yesterday's final stage from Marlow to Hemel Hempstead. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Just bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Thank you.
Of a traveling show, my mama used to dance for the money they'd throw. Papa would do whatever he could, preach a little gospel, sell a couple bottles of Dr. Good. Gypsies, tramps and thieves, we'd hear it from the people of the town. They'd call us gypsies, tramps and thieves, but every night all the men would come around, lay their money down.
Doorbell.
Picked up a boy just south of Mobile, gave him a ride, filled him with a hot meal. I was 16, he was 21. Rode with us to Memphis, and Papa would have shot him if he knew what he'd done. Gypsies, tramps and thieves, we'd hear it from the people of the town. They'd call us gypsies, tramps and thieves, but every night all the men would come around lay their money down. I never had schooling, but it taught me well with its smooth southern style. 3 months later, I'm a gal in trouble, and I haven't seen him for a while. I haven't seen him for a while. She was born in the wagon of a traveling show. Her mama had to dance for the money they'd throw. Grandpa do whatever he could, preach a little gospel, sell a couple bottles of Dr. Good.
Where's me Woody?
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves, we'd hear it from the people of the town. They'd call us gypsies, tramps, and thieves. But every night all the men would come around and lay their money down. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves, we'd hear it from the people of the town. They'd call us gypsies.
Morning, guys. Probably can't play that song now because of... Oh, no, actually, probably can't play that song now. OK, right, that's fair enough. Fair play. We're going to look in the paper.
We've got one.
Do you want me to do it first?
We'll
or do
share. You
would
can do the first one.
Share.
Eh?
Oh, share. I wonder if...
Sure.
Surely not. We've only got one paper, guys. Doesn't matter. 03459 455 555 is the phone number if you want to give us a call. We're always faking clips. Right, the whiteboard. We need the whiteboard
Yeah, where
because
is that?
I don't know.
Skyne's still got it.
I need the whiteboard because we're going to carry topics in the rabbit hole over for the whole week. I've decided. So anything that pops up on a day is going to be carried over for the whole week. And I had a dream last night of a phone-in topic. Okay, and in the dream it was flipping brilliant. Right,
Yeah.
it was flipping brilliant. Kels, if you're going to go and get that whiteboard, let's hope you get a pen as well. Otherwise, it's pointless. When I woke up, I thought, well, that topic was brilliant. That topic was brilliant. Oh, that topic any good? Oh, it's a bit rubbish. So I'm gonna say it, and then we're just gonna do it, okay? And because in the dream it works.
Go on.
What's happened to you underwater? Now, in the dream, it was brilliant. Let's just try a random person. The next person that walks into the studio, we'll ask them. Oh, hey, Dealey.
Hi, guys. How you
thank
doing?
you.
Justin, I just want
We've got another mirror.
You're doing squirrels today.
Am I? No, hang on.
Who did we speak to 20 minutes ago and said they were going to do squirrels?
You said to me, I want you to do some hard work. I said, OK, I want to bring something up. Squirrels in Dunstable, they're slightly arrogant. Doesn't mean I'm going to go and work and do them.
It was just personal beef.
It was just personal beef.
We were talking on air about what you were going to do.
Oh, was that what I was going to do? I thought it was a case of hang on, no.
Has he ever done this show before?
You said to me, I want you to work hard today, and I said, I've got personal beef with squirrels. I'd say they're two different conversations.
That's usually how you introduce a vox.
So
okay.
What have you done the last 20 minutes?
You
went and got the papers.
Went and got the papers.
Yeah, no
okay.
papers. Yeah, papers.
But so you haven't taken your weird beef with squirrels to the streets?
I can do. When do you want it for?
Kelly, just let me know. Who's being stupid here? Is it me or him?
Him.
Thank you.
So what are you after?
I
Squirrels
don't know.
are the arrogant.
You suggested it.
I can do whatever. When do you want it for?
Well, I wanted it for about 10 minutes from now.
Okay, see you later then.
Oh.
Right, okay, but before you go,
Yeah.
I dreamt a phone-in topic. It doesn't sound good in real life. In my dream, it worked.
Yeah.
Let's just see if this works. Yeah. What's happened to you underwater? Keep it clean, man. Keep it clean. We've got kids listening.
I've got one.
Yeah, go on.
Go on.
I sustained an injury.
How?
You know, in the olden days when you didn't have a shower head, you had like
the thing that sucked onto the taps.
Well, my grand's was broken, had a hole in it, so they were using a cup to wash our hair at my grand's.
Yeah.
We didn't realise the cup had chipped.
Yeah.
And so me and my cousin are both sitting in the bath, and all of a sudden the bath water goes red.
Oh, mate!
I cut my bum.
Cut your okay. Okay.
In there.
Well, this is two phone-ins in one. What's happened to you underwater, and have you ever cut your bum? That's what we're discussing today. Justin, do either of those two work for you?
Yes, I cut my bum. Yes, I've got that one, which I'm not going to go into. In fact, yesterday
I don't want to go into your bum.
Okay. No. Yesterday. No, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go with...
Can I just say, if Justin is censoring himself, you can only imagine how outrageous that story was.
Okay. As for water, I've healed underwater. I had internal bleeding in my left knee.
Healed?
Yeah, I've healed. When I was playing football, I had internal bleeding in my left knee. And
You've healed?
And they said to me, you must go swimming 3 times a week to get your knee moving.
Where did you
again.
go swimming? Lourdes?
No, Decorum Sports Centre in Hemel Hempstead.
Have they got holy water there?
No, but it just worked. It works. So I've healed, and secondly, I've lost my trunks underwater. When I went swimming with the school, I dived in thinking I was the big I am. Whoosh!
Turns out you're the small Will I am. My boys, we go swimming quite a bit, and we went swimming the other day, and my youngest said, "Daddy, I need a wee. Can we go to the toilet?" I said, "I'm not getting out, son. We're not getting out. Just look. Here's a grown-up trick. You can just do a wee in the pool, okay?"
Yeah,
he went, "No, you can't." I said, "Yeah, you can. Just do a wee in the pool. I do it all the time." Not all the
Wow.
time. Not like a
Mate.
yeah. And so what you do, of course, you just stand there and
I know how you do it.
Yeah, he didn't. He stood up on the edge, pulled his trunks down, got his dinkle out, and starts weeing into the pool.
Absolute player.
I'm lucky it wasn't the other. Justin, go and do something on the streets,
No
please.
worries. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Unbelievable behaviour.
Hey, turns out your subconscious mind was right, though.
Okay,
that's got legs.
so we've got two things there. Squirrels. What have you done underwater? And also, who looks old now? So we've got David
what about
Byrne looks
cut
old
your
now.
bum?
Huh?
What about cut your
And
bum?
cut your bum, but I'm just a little bit cautious about that. Who did you say who's got old now?
Matt LeBlanc.
Isn't it?
Because
Isn't
he's
it?
also got really wide.
Moonface.
He's got a tiny little head.
Yeah.
Massive
Yeah.
torso.
Who looks old now, guys? We'll take your calls after this. guys. Iain Lee, BBC 3CR, 03459 455 555. Who looks old now? Ever cut your bum? And what's happened to you underwater? We'll find all of that out and a bit more after we get some of this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Busy now on the M1 southbound between junction 10 for Luton Airport to 9 for Redbourne. It's also looking slow on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 21A for St Albans and 19 for Watford. And in Bricketwood on the North Orbital Road, that's slow at the M25 junction 21A roundabout. On the train departure boards, the 6:59 service from Three Bridges to Bedford has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, Sammy! Sorry.
Hello?
That sign wasn't a sign for you.
Oh, really?
Oh, this is...
Sounded like it was.
No, I know it did, and that was rude of me, Sammy.
Is it because the train is cancelled?
No! I'll tell you why it is, okay? It's because it's really hot in this studio, okay? And I would like... This is another phone in. This is why we need the whiteboard, because the ideas are just pouring out of me like the sweat from my pit, Sammy.
Oh, no, you could have a hula party.
I think I'm going to say I think I'm going to say goodbye, Sammy. That was weird.
What?
That was
It was a hula party.
That was weird, right? What's going on? Her, Dealey, everybody's being nuts. At least Kelly's not. There we go. You see, she's being her usual ineffectual self. She's the reason this show's on air today. You've got her to blame.
She's done a good deed for the day.
And that's it. She's done a good deed for the year. That's it. She was at Rhythms of the World. We'll ask her about that later on when, after the show. Naughty. Right, hang on a second. Let's do this. It's business time. Let's get the business news. Not the business news, the news from, me. Lorry drivers in the Three Counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. A motorcyclist has died after a collision near Chalfont St Giles in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning, and Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for winger Diego Perotti with Italian side Genoa. Thank you.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's a rather grey and damp old start to the new working week. However, the heaviest of our rain has already moved south and eastwards. It's a little better now than it was earlier on or earlier last night. But this is all moving south. It's still rather cloudy, still one or two showers popping up, and these showers could pop up anywhere through the course of the day. They're not restricted to a time frame, I'm afraid. So be prepared for showers, maybe one or two quite heavy ones later on this afternoon. But just north of Luton, there's a line in the clouds, so just moving south of Milton Keynes at the moment, we have some sunshine, and there's a whole big hole in the cloud just looking at the satellite picture, so we all should get some sunny spells through the course of the day as well. Temperatures likely to reach 17, maybe 18 Celsius. Sunsets at 21, 25 when it does. Still some showers feeding in this evening, but they will die out. Minimum temperature down to 8 Celsius. Got a bit of a breeze overnight, which prevents the temperature from dropping down too far. Sunrise is today 4:43, and it's going to be a better day tomorrow. An improving picture, feeling warm, some good sunny spells, temperatures up to 19 Celsius, and that's your forecast.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
The book is all about how you can use nature to make walking a detective game. There's no cost to spending 10 minutes looking at all this stuff. Three mums from Hertfordshire have got something a little bit different planned. This weekend they're walking the 100 kilometres.
We've done lots of training and we're aiming to complete it within 24 hours.
Nick Coffer.
Is that a maze in front of your house?
It's called a parterre.
Oh, it's a parterre, is it?
I planted it myself with 540 plants, so I know it's a parterre.
Award-winning Milton Keynes sports journalist Mike Calvin has written Gareth Thomas's
Let's have a parterre, everybody.
I've got to think what you think, I've got to see what you see, I've got to hear what you hear, and that will be an inherently painful process.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I don't know what I want to say.
No, nor do I. I always think that every time I hear that trail. Oh, let's have a parterre, everybody.
You've got to fight for your right.
To party is the thing. So, David's in Hitchin. Good morning to you, David.
Hello there.
Hello, David.
Yeah, that's the fella.
Rat fans. Good morning, David. What have you got for us?
Well, you were saying about underwater. When I was about 9 years old, I was sent to a residential home on Hayden Island.
Oh, yeah.
And but every 2 weeks they used to take us down to the seafront to try and teach us how to swim.
Nobody can learn how to swim in the sea. That's not a natural environment. Oh, hang on, it's the most natural environment in the world, apart from the world itself. Well, it's equally natural. But you can't learn to swim in the sea.
Well, perhaps they didn't know that in 1959.
Did they just chuck you in?
No, we just had to wade down to the sea in our trunks.
I hate the sea. I hate the sea with a passion. I'll tell you why. Because when I started going out with my now wife, we went on holiday to Greece, and I'd never really liked the sea, right? But I was showing off a bit. So I went in the sea and I was swimming around. I was thinking, actually, I have missed, at the time, 36 years of this. This is amazing. This is flipping brilliant. I was loving it, David. I was swimming out, I was swimming around a little island, doing all this stuff. And then I made the mistake of standing on, what are they called? The underwater hedgehogs.
An urchin.
A sea urchin.
That's
I stood on
yeah,
a sea porcupine, David. And I came out, and I'd never even heard of these things. No one had told me about these things. And I came out, and I had the porcupine pines in my foot. And I had to have my foot upright. And my brother-in-law, who had only just met, was plucking at my feet, pulling these flipping out. Never again, mate. I won't go in the sea. I won't go in the sea.
I don't blame you.
Classic Bants, David. Take it easy.
Yeah. Well, hey, I got knocked over by a wave.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, of course. I got knocked over by a wave, and there I was sitting on the sea bottom, watching the bubbles come up in front of my face.
So did you die?
No, not as far as I can make out. I seem to still be here.
There we go. Thank you very much indeed, David. If you, and I say this, and I don't mean this. This is why we need the whiteboard. The ideas. I say this, and I don't mean this flippantly. Have you ever died? Have you ever died? 03459 455 555. Because you always get these people go, well, and the doctors tell me I was technically dead for 3 minutes. Oh, right, yeah.
I thought I was dying once, but I wasn't. I fainted.
Well, hang on a second.
It's a lot like death.
No, the phone... Oh, no, actually, OK, we can expand it. Have you ever died, and have you ever thought that you were dying? 03459 455 555. And another phone in as well. Only give them one idea a link. Stuff that. Can we find anybody who works somewhere hotter than this studio? Look at the sweat pouring off of my brow. Can we find anybody who works anywhere hotter than this? I don't know, a foundry or hell? Because this really has to be the hottest place in the world, innit? Innit? 03459 455 555. What have you got in the papers now that Justin's got them for us?
All manner of things. A woman had to be rescued by firefighters after her foot got trapped inside her own toilet.
A what?
Foot.
In a toilet?
Yeah. Do you want to know how she came to be there? She slipped after a shower and her foot went into the bowl, which was little more than an opening in the floor.
Oh, one of them.
Oh, hang on.
Is it
China.
Bangalore, China? Yeah, OK. Yeah, well, the Chinese.
Fire crews in Guang'an, southwest China, spent more than an hour freeing her, partly by chopping into the ceiling of the flat below. The woman was treated for a twisted ankle.
Is there anything funnier than a child with his head trapped in iron railings and you getting a massive saw and saying, well, I'm going to have to chop it off? And they think you mean their head, and then you do. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call.
That's one of those things that people only do in 70s comedies now, isn't it?
No, it happens.
That and having your foot stuck up the tap.
It happens. These people deserve... oh, look, it looks like... are we allowed to say Dave Lee Travis?
Let me see. He does.
Whack, whack, oops. Do you find... No, I can't do that. But just imagine... No, I can't do that. Guilty or not guilty? Whack, whack, oops. A retired couple have been threatened with an ASBO for playing their Roy Orbison albums too loud. Good. Roy Orbison is rubbish. Officers handed stunned Robert and Christine Fox, both 68, 1 year away, a warning following complaints from neighbours fed up with such hits as Oh Pretty Woman, Only the Lonely, and It's Over. I don't know if they're fed up with the hits, they're fed up with the twits that are playing the hits. Robert said, we make sure it's off by 6:30. I can't believe it's come to this. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I think it's just gone politically correct.
He denied swearing at city council staff when they visited his home. I did get worked up. I was annoyed. A neighbour felt the need to report me. Well, it serves him right. We can't have people blaring out bloomin' Pretty Woman when they should be blaring out this.
I'm not smart enough for this life I've been living. A little bit slow for the pace of the game. It's not I'm ungrateful for all I've been given, but nevertheless just the same. I wish to my soul I was back in Montana, high on my mountain and deep in the snow, up in my cabin over the valley, under the blankets with you. Over the ocean from here, over the mountains from there. Who can imagine the scale of the forces that push this old mountain range up in the sky? Tectonic creation, erosion, mutation, something to pleasure God's eye. The world is a wonder of lightning and thunder, the green of the ground as we fall from the sky. The old and new faces, the tribes and the races, thousands of places to try.
Sorry, guys, we interrupt the new track from James Taylor because Dealey's burst in a. I mean, what is wrong with you this morning?
What do you mean?
It's a very weird vibe.
It's a new town, same dog.
I don't know if it is the same dog. Squirrels, arrogant squirrels.
Yeah, I've been saying in Dunstable that they are
just talking to the
slightly
microphone,
arrogant.
it helps.
Okay, yes, I've been saying in Dunstable they are slightly arrogant.
Yeah.
You said no, people won't agree. I've been on the streets and everyone agrees. You go along with the fact the squirrels here are particularly arrogant. I mean, what's your thoughts on squirrels?
I don't like squirrels at all. I think they're arrogant and they just come out when in the middle of the road and you've got to be careful you don't run them over, but sometimes you can't help it.
Yeah. So there's definitely something about them. It's not just me. They've been goading you as well.
Yes, definitely. They just give me the heebie-jeebies.
All I know, I don't like squirrels. They've got a lot in my garden, all up the trees, and they're annoying me because I'm scared to go out my front back gate. Back door and I see all the squirrels around.
You're scared to go to your back door because of the squirrels?
No, but no, squirrels are really not very. I don't know any of the squirrels.
Yeah, but they should be dealt with in a court of law, don't you think?
Yeah, oh yeah.
But as I walk down the path, they sort of run towards you. They go all through the bins, mainly in the children's park as well.
Really? So they're going through the bins, so they're robbing, that's the first thing, they're stealing. But also this idea of them coming up to you, almost giving it the big one, and then as soon as you move, they run away, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Evidence.
Okay. Next.
Okay, can you take what's happened to you underwater to the streets?
Yeah, no problem. Give me half an hour, boss, and I'll come up with the goods. Bye.
Was that an evil chuckle?
It was.
That was an actual evil chuckle. I mean, unbelievable.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's been an accident towards London at junction 3 for High Wycombe East, and that's between a car and a van, and it's starting to cause some queues and it's blocked a lane. On the M1 towards London, there are delays between junction 5 for Watford and 4 for Edgware, and that's possibly because of reports of an incident, but we will get further details for you. On the M25, it's busy anti-clockwise from junction 21 for St Albans to 19 for Watford, and the A1 is slow southbound from Bournemouth towards Edgware, looking at the speed sensors. No reports of any problems on the trains at the moment though. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you very much. So, I mean, I'll try and remember as many of these phone-ins as I can. Ever cut your bum? What's happened to you underwater? Does anybody work in a place hotter than this studio? Oh, who looks old now? And thank you, Smudger. Yes, Barry Manilow looks old now. 03459 455 555 or text 81333. Start your text 3CR. Let's get the news. Here's Simon.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. The headlines. Lorry drivers warn over stowaways in their vehicles. Motorcyclists killed in Buckinghamshire collision. And Watford set to break their transfer record.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lorry drivers in the three counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. Last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire over the space of just 2 days. In one case, a lorry driver alerted the police on the M1. In another, people were rounded up in a field near to the Toddington service station. These drivers say they and their colleagues face a constant battle.
Coming up the M20, he heard all this banging in the lorry and he immediately phoned the police, and the police met him, escorted him to the police station. They opened the back doors up and there was 11 inside.
I think there's a lot of politics going on with it, because you'll have a spell where it's just like rife and no one seems to be monitoring it, and then it seems to get clamped down on and they're like right on the case.
A motorcyclist has died after a collision in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. The man in his 70s was riding a Honda which was in collision with a Ford Fiesta just before midday on the A413 Amersham Road just outside Chalfont St Giles. Police are appealing for witnesses. Britain's largest nursing union has warned that thousands of foreign nurses could be forced to leave the UK under new immigration rules. The Royal College of Nursing says a new pay threshold, which means non-European workers will have to return home after 6 years if they're not earning at least £35,000, will cause chaos for the NHS. Dr. Peter Carter is from the RCN.
Most of those nurses are working in acute hospital wards or care homes where there's already a shortfall in staff. So you're talking about an under-pressurised area of nursing which will be further compromised by this.
An emergency summit will be held in Brussels later to try to stop Greece defaulting on its debts and exiting the euro. New proposals to end the crisis put forward by Greece yesterday will be considered. Residents in Leighton Buzzard say the Church of England hasn't acted quickly enough to prevent neglected horses from dying on their land. The newly introduced law on fly grazing means abandoned horses can now be dealt with by the landowner. But Sarah, who runs the Leighton Buzzard Horse Action Group, believes the church has a duty to do more.
Landowners, in our opinion, have a responsibility for their land and the animals that are on that land, whether legally or illegally. I think morally they need to take the high ground with this. If the church are not acting correctly and morally, what chance do the rest of us have, really?
A man from Stevenage scaled Westminster Abbey yesterday in a Father's Day protest. Fathers for Justice say Bobby Smith was one of two men who made the protest before climbing down after several hours. In sport, Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for Argentine winger Diego Perotti with the Italian side Genoa. And in cycling, Germany's Lisa Brennauer won the women's tour after finishing fourth in yesterday's final stage from Marlow to Hemel Hempstead. The weather, some rain this morning, sunny this afternoon, but still with a chance of heavy showers. A maximum temperature 18 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. If you want your kids to do nice jingles, they can. You can email them in, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. I don't want stuff like that.
Put that ready, then away.
No, that's just creepy. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Ever cut your bum? What's happened to you underwater? Does anybody work anywhere hotter than this studio? Who looks old now? Chris, you see, Chris has got it. Bill Clinton looks old now. He does, doesn't it? It's just people go from looking, I was going to say looking normal, to just suddenly you look at them and go, oh, they look old now, don't they? And on the subject of what's happened to you underwater, Scott says, I once trod on a weaver fish in the sea. I made such a fuss about it. My friends still call me Weaver Boy 15 years later. 03459 455 555. You can text 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or you can tweet at Iain Lee if you want.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Have we got any Texas?
We ain't got no Texas.
What?
No, not one.
Not one Texas?
Not one.
Aren't people lazy? I'm doing all this work and then they're just sitting there, what, listening to it?
Yeah.
We should be so lucky. OK, well, if you want to text us in, you can. 81333. Start your text 3CR. Now, last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire over the space of 2 days. All of them have been carried into the area in the back of a lorry. Now, here's the interesting thing. If that happens, the lorry driver faces prosecution whether they knew about it or not. That doesn't seem fair to me. I mean, yeah, if the lorry driver's taken a few quid, then, all right, yeah, that's outrageous. But if they've just snuck on... Really? If you're a lorry driver that's been affected by this, I'd love to hear from you. I know it's a kind of a niche audience. 03459 455 555. Peter Cullum is the head of international affairs at the Road Haulage Association. Morning, Peter.
Good morning.
First of all, have I got that right? If there's somebody in the back or underneath or on the top or of someone's lorry, the lorry driver, whether they knew about it or not, gets in trouble?
No, that's not quite true.
Go on then.
There's what's called a civil penalty regime, where so long as you can demonstrate that you've done everything you can to prevent migrants, everybody accepts nowadays that migrants do try and get on without the driver's knowledge. And so long as the driver has a credible defence, which shows he does relevant checks, which have been agreed between the industry and the Home Office, then he can mitigate the fines or even get them reduced altogether.
Oh, reduced? So he still has to pay?
Not necessarily. The key issue is, has he got an effective system in place? That was agreed between industry and the Home Office some years ago, and if he and the company can demonstrate they've got an effective system in place, then there are no fines. And it's accepted that migrants do try everything they can to get on board without the driver knowing.
How would a driver prove that they've undertaken the proper checks?
Well, there are certain guidelines which are given on the Home Office website, and the company is expected to provide him with training. They keep records to show that they do checks on vehicles at certain times. And I should add that these checks are very little different from the checks that drivers should do to ensure the vehicle is roadworthy before they set off.
So what are the checks?
Well, they mean that you check the external part of the vehicle, you check all the back doors are padlocked. There's a device called a TIR cord. You check that is secure. You check the underside of the vehicle, just as you would do as if you were doing a normal walk-round check before you set off.
Okay. So if those checks are made, then there's no way that these migrants can get on there. Is that right?
No, that's not strictly true. That's where the defect is, that it is still possible. It depends on the circumstance. For example, if a driver is resting in, say, Northern Europe, it's possible for people to sneak on board without the driver knowing. But if he does the checks and can demonstrate that he's done the checks, then that provides a credible defense.
How do you demonstrate that you've done the checks? Have you got to film yourself doing it?
No, there are checklists which are provided, and you sign off.
Well, I can just tick that and sign that off. You know, you've had a long day, you've had a long journey, just tick that, sign it off. It's fine.
Well, that's where the principle is based on the integrity of the whole process. And there are gaps, and when the gaps are identified, then one gets the company to try and improve on them. But funnily enough, there are technologies around which suggest that a demonstrated checklist will be possible in the future, but that's very much under development.
So are you suggesting, Peter, then, that there are no lorry drivers that have been fined wrongly for, they say that they didn't know the immigrants were there and they weren't believed and they had to pay up a fine? That's never happened?
I don't know whether it's never happened, but certainly I can only quote my own personal case. Whereas we used to have this problem a few years ago, now the process is a much more of a dialogue between us and the Home Office. And in my own personal case, I have known of 4 or 5 people who have been approached by the Home Office, and they've been able to demonstrate the integrity of their checks, and they've not paid a fine at all.
It does seem a little bit unfair to put the onus on the drivers, doesn't it?
Well, I think you've got that. There is that point of view, but I suppose one has to say that everybody has to do his bit. There is no point in saying it's the job of the state and therefore the industry can just relax, and we've accepted that. We've said, OK, we will do our bit, but therefore there has to be a quid pro quo, and there is a process by which you go through the dialogue, and if you're still not satisfied, you can always go to the county court and put up a defence in court.
How much does a driver get paid?
Well, that varies it depends on the trucking company.
Roughly. Well, I've got literally no idea. 20,000 a year, 100,000 a year. I've got no idea.
Well, it's between. I suppose it's between. It depends. It depends whether you're doing. Depends on the vehicle. If there's a small vehicle, and he comes from abroad, then this is the other point that one needs to know is that more than 80% of all the vehicles now crossing the channel commercially are foreign registered. So you could get a range from some very low wages, say coming from Eastern Europe, to relatively high wages coming from Germany, France, or the UK. So there's a variety, but the fine is fixed, and therefore there should be an element of commonality across the piece.
How much is the fine?
Well, it can be as much as £2,000 from the driver and £2,000 from the company.
Because I'm thinking if the driver is getting paid, and I've still got no idea how much a driver gets paid on average. If a driver is getting paid, I would imagine not massive amounts. £2,000 is going to be £2,000's a lot of money in anyone's bank. But I just don't understand why the onus is on them and not the official security checks at the borders.
Because the border authorities do their checks at the border. What the driver is saying is that before I got to the border, my company told me to do checks. I did those checks, and therefore I have done everything I can to show that I've got an effective system in place to resist migrants. Now, everybody accepts that that is not foolproof, that there may be opportunities when a migrant can get on. For example, if there are queues on the approaches to the ports, then the truck is a static target, and the driver is on his own, and therefore he can't defend himself. And we recommend that if migrants are suspected to be on board, the driver does not confront them. He takes the migrants to a place of safety, and then you get into the civil penalty regime. But as I said, of late, we've not had any cases that have caused us concern, and if we do, we bring it up with the Home Office.
OK. Peter, I appreciate your time and helping me go through it. Thank you very much. It's Peter Cullen, Head of International Affairs at the Road Haulage Association. 03459 455 555. It's Colin in Harpenden. Good morning, Colin.
Good morning, Ian.
What was that noise?
Morning, Ian.
No, before that there was a...
No, good morning. No, nothing.
Yeah, but before that, you went... yeah.
Oh, it must have been the dogs, I don't know.
The dog... It was coming from... It was your voice, unless your dog...
I don't know.
You went... You did.
I don't know, Ian.
You did. You went...
I don't know, Ian.
And you know what effect it had on me?
What?
They just give me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, it really did. It really, really did. What have you got for us, Cole?
Yeah, underwater. I played a prank on my 3 children.
Oh,
holding your
beautiful.
breath underwater for my more than 5 minutes.
What? How did you do that, mate?
Well, down Batford, River Lee, in Harpenden, yes, you got the ford and the waterfall where it goes over and drops.
Yeah.
So all 4 of us lined up, and it was put your head underneath the waterfall and hold your breath the longest.
Yeah.
So we all went under, and they just popped up, I don't know, after 30 seconds.
Yeah,
and
lightweights.
Popped their heads out,
Yeah, idiots.
I just carried on holding my breath, and by which time it was passers-by, and I'd gone more than 5 minutes, and they were trying to pull me out, and in the end I just stood up and said, "What's the matter?" And they couldn't believe it. I said, "It's a little pocket of air. If you go further in, there's a pocket of air." And they couldn't believe it.
You terrified your kids for the sake of a laugh. I like your style. I like your style. Is it true, right, because you see this in films, that behind every waterfall there's like a secret cave that's either got pirate treasure or dinosaurs in?
Exactly, I found it.
Did you find it?
Yeah, it's the erosion of the rocks and everything.
It's the Asians in the rocks. It's the Asians in the rocks.
Yes, people hide things behind in the
Hang on a minute.
in the void.
We just talked about illegal migrants. There are Asians hiding behind waterfalls.
Not Asians, no. Treasure, you said.
Oh, right. OK, fine. Thank you, Colin. 03459 455 555. There we go. You see? My dream was true. Underwater Stories is proving to be a winner.
Always go with the dreams.
Always go with your dreams. Flipping heck, it's hot. I'm sorry, ladies. You won't be able to see this. The trousers are going to come off in a second because it's a sweat bath in here. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M40 towards London, there's been an accident at Junction 3 for High Wycombe East, which is causing queues now from Junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout. All the lanes have been reopened, though it's still looking really slow, and it's also affecting the A404 northbound at the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout as well. On the M1 towards London, between Junction 4 for Edgware, between Junction 5 for Watford and 4 for Edgware, that's looking really slow. That's because of a vehicle that broke down there, although all the lanes have now been reopened there too. And the M25 is slow anti-clockwise between Junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. Also in Luton on Vauxhall Way, that's starting to look busy between Hitchin Road and Crawley Green Road. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
What are you beefing on about?
Thank you, Sammy. Right, 7:16 or thereabouts. It's Monday, the 22nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Lorry drivers in the Three Counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. A motorcyclist has died after a collision near Chalfont St Giles in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. And Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for winger Diego Perotti with Italian side Genoa. Thank you very much indeed.
Every weekday morning.
Coming up at 9 on the Big Phone In this morning, is it a good idea to make jobless teenagers work for their benefits?
How would you like this country to stand up to President Putin? Are you surprised to see British people being blatantly racist?
The JVS Show.
I think we've got to get over this issue about racism doesn't exist. It has existed. It will probably carry on existing.
What I wanted to say is they've got this completely the wrong way around. You know, that is also true. That is also true.
You will always get some, but they are such a minority.
I think the man's a buffoon. Get him up, get him out of bed, give him a sense of purpose.
The JVS Show.
Do you think we have got to, as a country, start taking this issue more seriously?
Every weekday morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I haven't got the thing that does my thing, so I'll play this instead. Let's go to Grumpy Jamie. Good morning, Grumps.
Morning, mate.
How you doing? Grumpy?
Not bad.
Yeah? Grumpy as usual?
Yep.
Yep. And the thing about you is you enjoy being grumpy, don't you?
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Why?
It's just a good way of life.
And it is, though. I agree with. Oh, cheer up. Go and have a look. Get knotted. No, I'm with you, brother. I mean, you take Grump to a whole new level that I can only dream of achieving. But I agree with you. Grumpiness is the way forward. What have you called in about, Grumpy Jamie?
HGV drivers. The wages. I was on £1,000 a week when I did the continent.
Flipping heck! That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's £52,000 a year.
Yeah, but you're away 3 weeks at a time.
Who cares? That's even bigger bonus.
It is.
You haven't gone
you're
out with the family. You got the sunshine.
Exactly.
Sunshine. You haven't got the family. You're earning the dollar.
Yes.
It's beautiful. You've got a truck if you want to. You know what I mean? Do a little bit of long distance haulage. It must be a dream come true.
It was back then. Obviously, I've been out 10 years now, so I don't know what the wages are. I bet the wages are probably half that now.
Oh.
So the lads are probably earning nothing, hence why some of them are probably going to the bad avenues by trying to bring across people to earn extra money.
The bad avenues.
Exactly.
What was your favourite food to eat whilst driving in, let's say, Belgium?
They actually made a nice ham roll, actually.
Crepe.
That was it.
Crepe.
Oh, no.
You don't like a good crepe?
No.
Really?
No, I don't.
What's your problem with that, mate?
Just don't like them.
Yeah.
I'm not into that old pancakes or anything like that. It's not for me.
I tell you what, I'm not into. I don't get it. I don't get waffles.
No.
I don't get the potato waffles.
Dried potato waffles.
And I don't get the sweet waffles. What's that all about, guys?
I don't know. So they put syrup on them waffles and all. What's that all about?
Thanks for calling, Jamie.
Take care.
Ta-ta. Paul's on the line. Morning, Paul.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm all right, Paul. I'm sweating. I'm really sweaty. But do you know what? It's good. It's sweat. I'm losing weight while I'm in here, so it's a bonus.
Okay, well, I'm very pleased with you.
Thank you, sir. What have you got for us?
Regarding things that have happened underwater,
Oh, yeah.
there's a place called Stewart's Cove in the Bahamas. Have you ever heard of it?
I've never heard of Stewart's Cove in the Bahamas, he said, filling in for those people who couldn't quite hear what was just said. Yes.
Oh, sorry, it might not be very clear. I'm driving at the minute. Yeah, it's a shark diving place.
Yeah.
They take you out in the open ocean about half an hour.
Yeah.
You jump off the boat, you scuba diving, you sit on the bottom of the ocean, and a fella comes down with a bait box, pulls fish heads out, and all these Caribbean reef sharks fly in from different directions.
Now, are you in a cage?
No, there's no cage.
You're just sat... Hang on a second, let me get this right. You're just sat at the bottom of the sea, while a bloke who, let's be honest, in the Caribbean, probably hasn't got any health and safety training, throws dead fish around you to attract sharks.
He had a skateboard helmet on because apparently one of the sharks bit his head once before, so he wears a skateboard helmet now.
And how much did you pay for this near-death experience?
How much was it? It was a few years ago now. Not that much. I think about $60, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds like a bonus. And how many of you managed to get back to the surface?
We all survived, but they come from behind you, and as they come past you, they sort of slap you in the face. If you time it right, their tails will hit you in the face. It's like being slapped hard in the face.
The sharks will slap. They come from behind you, and they will slap you in the face with their tails.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And where was? sorry, Paul. Where was the fun in this?
Where was the fun in it? I wouldn't say fun isn't the word I'd use. I just remember seeing it once on the television or on the internet or something, and it just stuck in my mind. And it was something that I decided I always wanted to do. I've got a DVD of it somewhere.
Oh, mate, it sounds absolutely terrifying.
It wasn't really. The scary bit was I'd never dived with sharks before, so I was told to dive with them before, just in case I didn't like it. Anyway, so I did one in the morning, and we pulled up in the boat. And all the sharks were circling the boat. It was like Jaws, all their fins coming around the boat. And
is it true? Go on, sorry, carry on.
That's the scary bit, seeing the fins. And I stepped off the back of the boat as one came behind the boat, and as I stepped off, I would have landed on it, and then it all turned around. And
gosh, you could have stepped on him, then stepped on another, and then what? Is it true? I've always said this is a fact, and I'm sure it's true. If a shark comes to attack you, you've got to punch it in the nose.
You can try that, I suppose. I don't know. I've
Paul,
heard that.
Listen, it sounds absolutely terrifying. Thank you, mate. Your underwater stories. My dream came true. Hey, here's something. Can we talk? Remind me about 1:30. What?
Kelly said. I said. Otherwise, you have to do the thing that you have to do with the dog. Stick your finger up its.
If your dog is biting you, you put your finger up its bum.
Well,
Fact.
I said that to Kelly, and she said, "Oh, it's blowhole." I said, "A shark doesn't have a blowhole."
Does it not?
No.
Here's what I want to talk about after 7:30.
Where the fin goes.
Oh yeah. So the fin it comes off. Did you hear about this amazing? And I want to. It's got to be on YouTube. I keep meaning to look for it. The red arrows at the weekend.
Yes.
This is amazing, right? So there's red arrows. They're doing a parachute jump, right? Parachute doesn't open for one of them. It's like an air show. Everyone's panicking on the ground. Imagine what they're feeling like on the air. So, and I don't know how many there were. All the other red arrows dived towards this guy that was falling, because you can kind of aim yourself. His parachute opened a bit, so he slowed down a bit. But they dived towards him. They all huddled around him, and I heard one of them being interviewed afterwards. He said, Well, as we were falling rapidly, we were discussing the best plan of action. And he's doing it in a really good... So they're huddled around him, hurtling towards the earth. One of their parachutes doesn't open properly, and they were going, right, lads, what should we do? How do we get out of this? And they somehow managed to direct, all kind of move over to the water so that he fell into the water.
Didn't one of them catch him?
I don't...
He was holding on to his
I don't
parachute.
know. I tell you what, while I'm doing this next story, could you have a little look?
Yeah,
see if there's YouTube footage and find out exactly what happened. I heard it at the weekend. Maybe you were there. Maybe you were there, dear listener. 03459 455 555. And it's just, even now, just recounting it, I'm getting goosebumps. They were hurtling to the ground and they had to kind of push him over into the water. It's like that scene in the A-Team movie where they're in a tank that's hurtling to the ground and they keep firing the rocket. If you know anything about it, 03459 455 555. We'll talk about it after 7:30. Right now, though, this story. Residents in Leighton Buzzard are outraged that the Church of England have allowed 9 neglected horses to die on their land. The newly introduced law on fly grazing means that abandoned horses can now be dealt with by the landowner, and it gives horse owners 4 days to claim their animals. However, residents say the Church of England, as the landowners, aren't acting quickly enough to prevent these deaths. Well, Sarah from Leighton Buzzard runs the action group trying to get the situation resolved. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
I'm guessing you love horses. What kind of state are these horses being left in?
Well, it's been going on for over 2 years now, and basically, quite simply, they're dying from worm infestation.
And this is treatable, is it?
Yes, it's treatable very easily in the early stages, but if left, it can be really detriment to the horse's health.
Do we know who's leaving these horses?
Leaving them or owning them?
Well, who's kind of... Are the horses abandoned there?
In our opinion, yes, because in the past, owners haven't come forward.
Right, and do we know who the horses belong to?
Currently, I think the RSPCA may have an idea who some of them belong to, but what's happened in the past is no one's owned up to owning the sick ones.
Right, oh, I see, clever, yeah, classy. So this is on Church of England land,
yes,
and the law changed last month to make it easier for the church to get this sorted. Have they been doing anything? What have they said to you?
Basically, they've been fobbing us off up until that date, leading us to believe that come the new law, they would act. So we sort of backed off the pressure a little bit. The new law has now come into effect, and they still haven't acted. And quite frankly, their statement that they've released to you is pathetic, and they're not actually doing what they've said.
Well, let me read. I've got some of the statement here. The situation changes on a daily basis, but we are doing all we can as responsible landowners to work with the RSPCA to ensure we take our responsibility seriously and act within the parameters of the laws. If anybody has concerns about any horse on the land at Grovebury Road, please contact the RSPCA.
Okay.
Doesn't really say a lot, does it?
No, the RSPCA are a charity. The church, they earned over $6 billion last year. So they're fobbing off their responsibilities to a charity that have limited resources. Is that right?
Here's a question. Let me play devil's advocate for a second, Sarah. Why should the church be bothered about it? They didn't ask for the horses to be dumped there, and you can say that there's a global organisation they earned £6 billion, but this specific church won't have anything approaching that. Why should they?
Well, it's actually earned by the Church Commission, which they do have £6 billion. It's not owned by the local church.
Right.
So, why should they... Sorry, what was the question again?
Why should they be bothered with these horses? They didn't ask for them to be left there, did they?
Well,
so it's not, really their responsibility.
No, well, it is because they own the land, and as landowners, that is you are responsible by law, whether you like it or not. And well, we just feel that any landowner, any small landowner would act. If it was myself or other people I know, they would act. We feel the church should set the standard. I mean, this is a national crisis as well. This is going on all over the country. Hence, that's why the new law was brought in. Now, if the church are burying their head in the sand and not doing anything, it doesn't really set a very good standard for the rest of the country to follow, does it? And to be honest, that's the church's one and only job, is to teach us morals.
Sarah, I really appreciate your time. We'll keep an eye on this story. Thank you. That's Sarah, who runs an action group trying to help solve this situation. 03459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M40 towards London, there are delays from junction 5 for Stokenchurch towards junction 3 for High Wycombe East after an accident earlier between a car and a van. It did close the lane, but they are all open again now, but it's still very slow. It's also very slow on the A404 northbound through the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout, and it's also slow at the Bisham roundabout too. On the M1 towards London, there are delays between junction 6A for the M25 and 4 for Edgware. That's because the vehicle's broken down. And there are also delays on the M1 southbound between junction 13 for Bedford and 12 for Flitwick. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Lorry drivers in the three counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. Last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire in the space of just 2 days. A motorcyclist has died after a collision in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. The man in his 70s was riding a Honda which was in collision with a Ford Fiesta just before midday on the A413 Amersham Road, just outside Chalfont St Giles. And residents in Leighton Buzzard say the Church of England hasn't acted quickly enough to prevent neglected horses from dying on their land.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for the Argentine winger Diego Perotti with Italian side Genoa. If the 26-year-old agrees to move to Vicarage Road, it will eclipse the £3.25 million paid for Nathan Ellington back in 2007. Elsewhere, England under-21s beat Sweden 1-0 to keep alive their European Championship hopes, and England play Norway tonight in the last 16 of the Women's World Cup. Lewis Hamilton leads Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg by just 10 points in the Formula One World Championship after Rosberg beat the Hertfordshire driver in the Austrian Grand Prix. Hamilton was on pole, but Rosberg passed him at the start and controlled the race to the end, leaving the Stevenage star frustrated.
They changed something on the clutches, and for some reason it doesn't work on mine. The first 4 races were fantastic, and I'm like, it ain't broke, don't fix it. And anyways, they changed it, and ever since it's not been, I've been getting bad starts. So I've got to try to now, I'll go back with my engineers, and I'll be battling to try and get it back to the way it was.
The American Jordan Spieth has won the US Open golf 2 months after winning the Masters. The 21-year-old finished on 5 under to become the youngest winner of the US Open in 92 years after fellow American Dustin Johnson 3-putted on the last hole. Andy Murray won his 4th Queen's Club title, beating Kevin Anderson in straight sets. Earlier, Murray had to finish his rain-delayed semi-final with Wimbledon just a week away.
Obviously, you want to go into Wimbledon with matches under your belt on the grass. But I need to make sure I use the next 7 days as best as possible. It's been a long few months already, and I need to make sure I take a day or 2 off.
And in cycling, Germany's Lisa Brennauer won the Women's Tour after finishing 4th in yesterday's final stage from Marlow to Hemel Hempstead. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Hang on, you've got to click OK on this. There we go. Thank you, Simon. Thank you. Nobody noticed.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, there's a lot of action. I'm not feeling that fan. I'm not feeling the fan.
You mean you don't like it, or you can't actually feel the impact?
I can't feel the impact. There's a fan that's been brought into the studio. It's so nice to meet you. And I can't feel it. Doesn't matter. We'll get it sorted out. Don't worry. So, lot to talk about this morning. What's happened to you underwater? That's been a real goer. That came from my dream state. That was a dream state. In the dream, it was brilliant. I woke up and thought, oh, that's rubbish. But do you know what? I'm going to give it a punt. And it turns out it's great. Ever cut your bum? Not going so well. Who looks old now? Oh, John Craven, says Chris. John Craven looks old now.
He looked old then, didn't he?
It's that thing. No, he kind of looked of a certain age, but that's the thing where you go, oh, don't they look old now? That's what we're after. 03459 455 555. Do you work somewhere hot? Or the hottest place you've ever been? Ever had a migrant smuggle in your the back of your car or lorry or camper van? What else? We've had loads. There were some good ones as well that I'm missing.
Squirrels, arrogant squirrels.
Oh, I mean,
that was Justin's, but no.
Oh, the barley weasel. I'd venture that Iain Lee is no longer the fresh-faced chappie he was back in his rise days. I'm certainly fatter, but I don't look old now. I look older. I don't look old now. Old is when you know it's someone they look like flipping it, look like a proper pensioner.
I think you look better.
I do look better.
You do.
I peaked about a year ago. Actually, I'm on the downslide again, and that's fine. I can deal with that. You've got some texters.
I have. David in Hemel says, I once cut my bum.
Thanks for calling.
When I was 17, my old 1955 car tipped over on its side and it had plate glass windows. Yowzers.
Yeah.
Robin Milton Keynes, I would text you, but I don't have anything to say.
Okay.
Oh, good job you didn't then. Looks old now. This is from anonymous person, but, it's a fair point. Jimmy Page.
Yeah, Jimmy Page looks old now. You've got it. It's a tough one to describe. But who looks old now?
Paul Nicholas. He's got Paul Nicholas's hair, but he's got
not
an
much
old
of it.
man's face.
He's not got much of Paul Nicholas's hair.
No. Oh, isn't it a shame, though?
See, Roger Daltrey doesn't look old now. Pete Townsend doesn't look old now. They will do. One day you'll turn on and go, don't Roger Daltrey look old now?
Is it because they've got kind of craggy faces to begin with?
Yeah, that helps.
Characterful.
That helps. That sustains it a little bit. 03459 415 5. Daily!
Good morning, boss.
Dun, 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 dun. Whoa, Daily. You all right, fella?
Yeah, I'm all right, boss. Yourself?
Do you know what, mate? I'm all right. This sweating thing is actually, it's like being in one of those, you can't say Red Indians anymore. Native American. It's like being in a Native American teepee wigwam, bam, I'm your man, thing, where they go in there and it's really hot, a sweat lodge. Yeah. And you go in there, I think you smoke dope.
Yeah, and they get transient, don't they?
Yeah, you kind of enter like a dream state and you talk to the spirit world.
Yeah.
Talking to the callers this morning is a lot like being a Native American smoking dope in a sweaty wigwam bam.
But surely that's a good thing, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it's the best
great
thing.
Vibe. Yeah, come on.
It's not a criticism. It's not a criticism at all. Justin.
Yes.
Dream State told me to do this. Dream State was correct. What's happened to you underwater? The calls have been phenomenal. Yep. You've taken this to the street, Steels.
I have, and I think you're probably expecting funny stories here, I presume, aren't you?
I'm always expecting... I'm always expecting from you, Justin. Here we go. Yeah. The unexpected.
Yes, well, I was expecting people to say to me, oh, I lost my trunks in the pool, or I got stung by a jellyfish. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh. On the streets this morning, we got very, very deep, starting off with a man who, trust me, you do not want to go in a car with this man. Take a listen to what happened to people underwater. Morning, boss. Right, OK. This is an absolute belter. Tell our listeners what happened to you underwater.
Well, it's winter time. It was going back a few years ago, and mate come round. He wanted to go down Emmerdon Park, take him down there for a drive, take him round to learn him. It had been raining for about a week, and there's a river next to the lakes, and the river started coming over at night. We hit a bump, hit the bank, put the brakes on, skidded down the hill, and rolled over, upside down, hit the lake, and glided in, and we sunk.
All this when you're taking out a learner driver, you've ended up underwater in a vehicle.
Yep, that's right.
Wow, what about the injuries?
No injuries. He couldn't swim, my mate. And mate was still under, so I'd go back down and grab him, put him out on the bank in the winter, freezing.
Oh, my God. So I think the advice is never go out with you if you're a learner driver.
Yeah, never go out with me, yeah.
Madam, you can't swim. No. Tell us what happened to you when you were 4 years old, underwater.
I'd like to say I saw mermaids, but I didn't. It was very dark.
So it's a dark story. What happened?
I fell in, backside first. I just went under and didn't come back up.
For how long?
About 30 seconds.
Wow, so somebody jumped in to get you?
Yeah.
Who was that person?
My dad.
How lucky do you feel to be talking to the J-Dog right now, knowing what happened to you at 4 years old?
Very lucky, very lucky. Very handsome gentleman.
Thank you. And I was hoping we'd get some funny stories, but that's pretty deep.
No, it was deep. No, nothing funny, I'm afraid.
Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy life.
Thank you.
There you go. Extraordinary.
Yeah, an extraordinary story that was lessened slightly by you going, how does it feel to be talking to the J-Dog? Enjoy life.
Well, she is enjoying life, but the first guy in particular, I mean, he's taken somebody out for a driving lesson, and the poor guy couldn't swim. The car has sunk to the bottom of the lake. That man almost died that day because he was going out for a driving lesson. Incredible stuff on the streets of Dunstable. And can I just say,
yes, mate.
I've tweeted this as well. Is this just a Dunstable thing?
Yeah.
A lot of people this morning on the streets didn't notice it so much last week, but a lot of people playing with their private parts this morning whilst talking to me. Is that just a Dunstable thing?
I know my boys will be doing the same thing. The boys, again, were in my bed last night, and they're going, Daddy, can we play with the Echo? I go, what do you mean? And they're going, where's me Woody? Where's me Woody? Where's me Woody? Woody? So I had like 40 minutes of,
where's me Woody? 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 Where's me Woody?
It was flippin' annoying, mate.
Yeah, it's annoying, and that's me saying that I'm annoying myself. There you go.
Well, you are. It can only be said, an annoying person. Have we got anything else we can send Dealey out on? I'm enjoying.
Yeah, have you died?
Well, no. I mean, even the J-Dog couldn't come back with material on that.
Could.
You want to bet?
Oh, Justin, really?
Yeah.
Have you ever
absolutely.
died?
You know, on this programme over what, 2 years I've been working with you. I love the niche markets.
3 years, mate. But thanks for remembering.
Okay, all right. 3 years. I love the niche markets because you could go out and get nothing, or you could come back with 2 or 3 absolutely unbelievable stories. Have you died? Leave it with me. Let's just try, shall we? Shall we try?
Speak to you later, Just.
Okay, take care.
Ta-ta. I love his arrogance, and it's not. He is arrogant. That's what it is. 03459 455 555 is the phone number.
Pete in Stotfold sent us a nice long text, but if you're having your breakfast, you might want to just tune away
Look
for a
away,
second.
guys, look away.
This happened underwater. When I was in the spinal unit of Stoke Mandeville Hospital recovering from breaking my back, they had a hydrotherapy pool. One day, whilst in there having physio, my stomach rumbled.
Oh, no. Oh, no!
And a brown cloud appeared.
Hey!
Unfortunately for the other person in the pool with me, they had to pass through it to get out. Needless to say, the pool was shut for a couple of days to clean it, and I never used it again.
Well, don't worry, guys. This will cheer you up. Page 39 of the Daily Mirror. Don't miss, for a limited time only, the country's biggest trouser sale.
What?
It's an advert for
the country's biggest trousers?
I guess you'd call these slacks. Well, they're smart trousers, right? In the colours black, brown, navy, and Lovat.
I beg your pardon?
Black,
Yeah.
brown,
Yeah.
navy,
Got you.
and Lovat.
Hey.
What is Lovat?
What is Lovat? I'm imagining some kind. I mean, these action slacks tend to come in a light grey blue. Is it that?
From this tiny picture, has anyone heard the word Lovat before? From this tiny picture, it looks like a kind of mottled green.
Oh, nice.
Regular cut. There's up to 66% off. Not the leg, I hope. Save up to £40 when you buy 2 pairs. Regular cut with roomy fit for your ultimate comfort.
They've got a really long zip.
They've got a really long zip.
Never.
Yes, they have. Crease-resistant wash and wear fabric. No dry cleaning. Stay sharp parallel leg styling with it. Just say they're trousers. Are they trousers? They're trousers.
They sound like old men's trousers.
Stay sharp parallel leg styling with precise 19-inch bottoms. Available in 5 colours: brown, grey, black, navy and Lovat. How is there a colour? Is this a new colour that they've just discovered? I've never heard of Lovat. Available in 4 inside leg measurements: 27, 29, 31 and 33. Every waist size from 32 to 54. So your size is in stock. Head buyer grabs crisis hit Euro shipment. Oh, this is the equivalent of a bloke rocking up in a van and saying, listen, I've got some speakers in the back. I can't take them. Do you want to buy them? Knockdown price. That's right. Thanks to the swift actions of our shrewd head buyer, we've acquired a shipment of premium comfort trousers. Comfort trousers? From a European retail chain that's just gone bust. That's why if you call us today, you can catch us with our trouser prices down. Oh, guys, that's brilliant. I didn't know it was going there. You will find each pair to be flawlessly tailored from premium polyester.
Wow, premium polyester is better than usual.
Which is...
highly flammable.
Which is renowned for its lasting qualities and smart looks. No, it's not. It's
makes you
renowned for the fact
sweaty.
that if you keep walking in it, you're going to get a fire on your what's-it. These trousers keep their shape beautifully, even after repeated machine washing, so no dry cleaning bills either. The savings just keep piling on top of themselves. Cleverly designed to fit you perfectly every time. What?
Well,
you would hope
if
so.
they fit you the first time, then surely...
And with room to breathe for your ultimate comfort breathing. You will love the razor-sharp parallel leg styling. So the legs are the same length, yeah?
Always handy.
Unique features include 2 side pockets. That's a pocket on either side.
Wow.
That's not unique.
They've thrown an extra one in there.
A button tab back pocket, snag-proof nylon zip, and double-stitch belt loops. We have your size in stock. Don't miss this opportunity. Brown, grey, navy, black and Lovat. Plus... 5 black, brown or grey leather belts, £7.
No Lovat.
It's just... And the company that's doing this, it's a nice naming company. They sound so friendly. Their name, Chums. Chums.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Towards London, there are delays from Junction 5 for Stoke-on-Church towards Junction 3 for High Wycombe East, and that's after an accident earlier between a car and a van. All the lanes are open, but it's really slow, and the A404 southbound does have a lane closed between the Bisham roundabout and the M40 at the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout because of that. On the M1 southbound, that's easing off between Junction 6 for Watford and 4 for Edgware, but it is looking busy southbound between Junction 10 for Luton Airport and 9 for Redbourne. And also looking at the A1 on the speed sensors southbound, it's slow from the St Neots Junction approaching the Black Cat roundabout. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 7:46. It's Monday the 22nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Lorry drivers in the Three Counties say they're under constant threat from migrants who are trying to board their lorries. A motorcyclist has died after a collision near Chalfont St Giles in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning, and Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for winger Diego Perotti with Italian side Genoa.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It was a rather damp night, but the biggest or the heaviest of the rain has moved south. We have now got some cloud, 1 or 2 showers around, but I'm just looking at a satellite picture and we have a very definite line of cloud just south of Milton Keynes. It's moving south, so north of that is actually quite sunny at the moment, and that's all heading across all 3 counties, so we will get some sunny spells. Showers could pop up anywhere today, 1 or 2 heavy ones, potentially thundery later, and temperatures perhaps not quite as warm as they have been, 18 Celsius being the maximum. Sunsets at 21, 25. Still some showers floating through this evening, but then eventually they will dry out. Still quite breezy, though. That starts to develop through the middle part of the night, but it does help to keep the temperature perhaps not as chilly as it could be. 8 Celsius being the minimum in the countryside. Sunrise is at 04:43. It's a better day tomorrow. More sunshine, feeling warm again with a maximum of 19 Celsius. And that's your forecast.
Every weekday from 3. Local stories.
People in Watford are being urged to celebrate their local heroes by creating a postcard in their honour. In other local news, rugby fans are being warned to watch out for fake World Cup tickets.
Roberto Peroni.
Now, a metal detectorist has discovered an archaeological find in a field near Royston in Hertfordshire. Taxi drivers in Luton are demanding to be allowed to drive in bus lanes at all times. There is to be a new station at the Leighton Buzzard Narrow Gauge Railway.
Roberto Peroni. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
03459 455 555. Now I'm joined by Bethany Conway from Welwyn Garden City. Morning, Bethany. Oh, hang on a second. I told you, I was explaining to you, I didn't have your microphone open. I said, look, Bethany, well, if you come in, if I look away, it's not because I'm being rude, it's because we're in a new studio. I've got no idea how any of this works. I pretend I'm the big I am. I haven't got a clue. Bethany, nice to see you.
You too.
Tell us what you're here for.
Well, I'm trying to find my half-brother.
it's a very long and complicated story.
Tell us the long and complicated story.
So there's 5 of us in total, and there's my older brother, who we're trying to find. There's my half-sister who lives in Canada, and we're trying to find him. And then I've got a younger 2 sisters, and they currently live with my dad. We all have the same dad, different mums,
Right.
but we just can't find him.
Okay, so why are you trying to... So this brother, why are you trying to find this brother?
He's just the missing piece, really.
Right.
I know where the other 4 are, just he's the other one.
And you feel... It's funny you should say this, because I've got loads of half-brothers and sisters, and I was never particularly interested in them until my dad was kind of dying. And then I met some of them and thought, oh, actually, they're quite nice people. And, you know, we kind of get on, and there's still a couple of brothers or a brother that I've not met. And that doesn't bother me that much. Why is it so important to you to find this guy?
Just, I suppose, because I know who my sister is and I know who the other 2 sisters are. I don't know who he is, and he could be anyone.
Tell us a bit about him. How old is he? What's his name?
He'll be about 29. He's called Anthony. Might be in Manchester. That's pretty much all I know.
If I ask anything that's too personal, tell me to shut up, and I won't mind at all. How come... you've never met this guy?
No. Never seen a picture or...
When did you find out about him?
Kind of around the same time I found out about my sister, quite a few years ago.
Right.
I always kind of knew about her, and then I ended up meeting her about 3 years ago. She came over and surprised me for my 16th birthday party.
The one from Canada?
Yeah. She's only 8 months older than me.
And how did you find out? Did your dad kind of sit you down and say, I've got something to tell you guys?
No, I don't really talk to my dad.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was kind of all my mum.
Right.
My mum's really been the one that's there for me
Yeah.
all these years, and she's supported me, whatever I wanted to do, whether I wanted to talk to them or not. Or
Yeah.
She's just been there.
Oh, well, that's good, because, again, my mum was the same, but you can understand why some mums might be a bit, well, you know, don't get involved with that lot, you know.
Yeah,
so that's really cool that she's like that, and she's up for you, she's helping you find Anthony.
Yeah, she's supporting me, yeah.
So what do we know about him, then? Is there anything that you know about him that can kind of help you find this guy?
Literally nothing. Literally.
Do we know what his last name would be?
It will either be Rhodes or Tanner, so it'll either be my dad's last name or his mum's
last name. And you think he might be in Manchester. You think he's about 29 years old.
Yeah.
What have you done to try and find him so far?
Well, I woke up and my sister, I had like 100 notifications on Facebook, and my sister had posted a video of her just telling the story using like postcards and that, and it's got like 150,000 views, 4,000 shares on Facebook.
So he's not. You've obviously looked on Facebook. You've not been able to find him on Facebook or Twitter. You've done the googling and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, we found like potential people,
right?
But I don't really have the guts to just be like, oh, I think you're my brother.
Oh, isn't
like,
that interesting?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I can't just like, because he might not even want to be found. He might not even. Yeah.
So you've seen people that it could be.
Yeah.
And you've not, and this is going to sound like a judgment, and it isn't at all. You've not just sent one of those messages saying, "All right, Anthony, this is going to sound a bit weird. I think we might have the same dad. You might be my half brother. Just want to say hello."
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like I can't, and I don't want to put all this pressure on my actual brother or this random person who has the same name. I don't want to feel like I'm putting that pressure on them if they're not actually them.
Are you a bit nervous about potentially getting in touch with him?
Oh yeah.
What are you afraid of?
I don't know who he is. He could be anyone. He could be the nicest man or the worst man. He could be anyone. I was going to say horriblest, but that's not a word.
Well, but it's like horriblest kind of sums up. You know, I think we all get what you mean by that word.
Yeah.
So, but he's kind of the missing piece in the jigsaw, as far as you're concerned, really.
Much.
And if he doesn't want to get in touch, well, then that's fine. But it'll be kind of nice to know, you know, a little.
And see a picture.
I'm not interested. Thanks, I'm not interested. And then you've got the kind of full stop there.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I say I've got a brother, I think, in Australia. My dad was a very, very, let's just say he was a very, very naughty man. And I didn't know about my brothers and sisters until, I think maybe about 15 years ago. And then we kind of found out that there was one, and then there was a couple, and then I think there's maybe There's maybe 6. There might be more. I don't know. And all of mine are quite nice people. And there's this one in Australia, and I don't know anything about him. I've got no idea who he is. And it's weird, isn't it? Because I'm not that bothered about him, but I do sort of feel there's something that it would be nice to kind of meet him and shake his hand and go, all right, how you doing? Yeah. And leave it at that. And like I say, these other brothers and sisters, we text each other from time to time. I don't feel particularly close to them.
Yeah. But I want to see like the similarities between us, because looking at my sister, like we've got quite a lot of similarities, like facial wise. But like I want to see like similarities between us.
Well, Bethany, I wish you the very best of luck with this. I hope it works out, the way that you want it to, and if not, I hope it works out in kind of a sort of peaceful way.
Yeah.
Families are weird, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're such hard
really
work.
I know.
No one tells you this when you're little, and then as you get older, you go, flipping heck, they're such hard work. And dads in particular can be,
Oh, yeah.
They can be the hardest. I wish you the best of luck, Bethany.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Families are weird. There's no denying it whatsoever. And you look at other people, and everybody's families, messed up in one level or another. Everybody's families.
Even the ones that look normal.
Yeah, they all are. Everyone's got their little secrets.
You got a text.
Have we?
You have, yeah.
Yay!
How did he know that?
Thank you.
He's got special powers. Martin in Limbury says, please put your trouser piece in the podcast. I haven't laughed that much for ages. Make it a regular feature. Daily Mail advertising.
Oh, yeah, we'll put
I like those.
We'll put that in the...
I've got one of these little booklets here with offers in from the Mirror.
Yeah, we'll put the
there's some good
trouser advert
inventions.
in the podcast, please, Kelly.
Yeah, it's so
Who's in
good.
charge of the podcast?
There's some great inventions.
Podcast? What podcast? If you can go to the BBC Three Counties website, download it. It's like an hour-long best-of with extra bits. We put extra bits in that don't get broadcast. Or you can go to iTunes and type in Iain Lee and it pops up. Hey, this week we got an interview with a monkey. Peter Talk's coming on. Yeah, but, well, I've pre-recorded it, if I'm honest. I very rarely pre-record. It got a bit weird at the end. I'm going to cut the weird bit out at the end.
Will you let me have a listen?
Yeah, I will. I think he faked the line going. Because he just wanted to stop because he didn't. Because
he felt awkward.
It was. I kind of said, "Well, thanks, that Peter. By the way, one thing," and I was kind of just suggesting something to him, and he was going, "Iain, I can't hear you."
That's horrible. Isn't
in fact, hang on a second. I do that. You do that when I'm sat there talking to you, mate. You see? Look, hang on a second. I wonder if I can find it on here. Just the end. Anyway, have you got any more texts while I try and find
a quick one about people who look old now.
Yeah, go on.
Carlos in Luton says Barack Obama and Tony Blair. Tony Blair went old really quickly,
Tony
didn't
Blair,
he?
I'll give you. I'm not giving you Barack. I will not give you Barack. Tony Blair. Hang on, have a listen to this. Hang on a second. This is top nowadays, and its booklet is beautiful. I've lost him. There we go. This is similar with you, if you're up for it. Listen.
Iain?
Yes? Can you hear me?
Iain?
Can you hear me?
Iain?
Can you hear me? Oh, Peter, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Hello?
Oh. Hang on a second. I've lost... I see. He was
a bit quick with the second Iain, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Iain.
No,
I
came away crushed. My dreams were crushed. I mean, it's a cracking interview, and we'll play it in the week. We'll put it in the podcast. But I came away crushed. I thought, oh man, he has an unusual relationship with his fans. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got a Peter Talk story. Anyways, yes?
Love it.
Thank you. Love it. Yes, this is the colour these trousers come in. I love it.
Janet in Cheshunt says, love it is an old colour, fast going out of fashion. I mean, I've never heard of it. Was it ever in fashion? You're right, it's a sort of green. I think the sort of colours peasants had to wear in the 1200s and 1300s. And now you can own a pair.
You can own peasant colour. I mean, it really is. There are all these colours. Scientists have discovered. Did you see this at the weekend? Scientists have discovered a new colour.
Really?
That not everybody can see. It's sort of, they describe it as a cross, as sort of in between, sort of yellow and orange and blue. It's sort of in between that, and as best as you can describe a new colour, but only something like 66%, so 2/3 of people can actually see it. That is nuts, isn't it? Go and discover a cure for AIDS or something instead of finding new colours.
Oh, yeah, and the other thing we were talking about earlier on was about the red devils, not the red arrows.
The red devils, thank you.
right? The Red Devils doing a display.
We ain't got time for this now.
Anyway, it was cool.
We had time for that. We'll talk about that in a bit. I've forgotten. Thank you.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M40 towards London has long delays from junction 5 at Stokenchurch to 3 for High Wycombe East because of an accident between a car and a van earlier. It has been moved away to the hard shoulder, but it's still really, really slow. But also in High Wycombe on the A404 southbound from the Bisham roundabout towards the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout, there's been another accident which has closed a lane. The A40 in High Wycombe's also looking slow in both directions, and the A41 is slow southbound from Hemel Hempstead at the Two Waters Road towards the M25 at junction 20 for Kings Langley. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Just discussing that interesting case of Bethany and her trying to find her half-brother. My suggestion is just send a message. It'll go to his other folder anyway, so he probably won't see it for 3 months. Ah, man. Thank you very much indeed, Sammy. Last hour of the show. Ever cut your bum? What's happened to you underwater? Have you ever died? Who looks old now? And do you work somewhere hot? 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: lorry drivers warn about stowaways in their vehicles, motorcyclist killed in Buckinghamshire collision, and Watford set to break their transfer record.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lorry drivers in the three counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. Last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire over the space of just 2 days. In one case, a lorry driver alerted the police on the M1. In another, people were rounded up in a field near to the Toddington service station. Peter Cullum is the head of international affairs at the Road Haulage Association.
Everybody has to do his bit. There is no point in saying it's the job of the state and therefore the industry can just relax, and we've accepted that. We've said, OK, we will do our bit, but therefore there has to be a quid pro quo, and there is a process by which you go through the dialogue, and if you're still not satisfied, you can always go to the county court.
A motorcyclist has died after a collision in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. The man in his 70s was riding a Honda which was in collision with a Ford Fiesta just before midday on the A413 Amersham Road, just outside Chalfont St Giles. Police are appealing for witnesses. A man accused of murdering student Marcus Hall in Luton 14 years ago is due to appear in court today. 38-year-old Adebayo Ekun was extradited from Nigeria following his arrest in February, and a trial date set for August the 17th. 18-year-old Marcus was beaten and stabbed to death after attending a So Solid Crew gig in March 2001. The leaders of all 19 Eurozone countries are preparing for an emergency summit in Brussels later to discuss the Greek debt crisis. They'll consider fresh proposals to try to prevent Greece defaulting on a loan of more than £1 billion. The former Conservative Chancellor Kenneth Clarke says the economic shockwaves will be limited if Greece exits the euro.
Time has been spent on minimising the consequences for everybody else. I mean, there are British banks exposed there and so on, but things are a lot better than they were 2 years ago. And I hope the finance ministers, together with the central bank, have worked out how to minimise the consequences.
The Royal College of Nursing is warning that new immigration rules could force thousands of foreign nurses to leave the UK. Britain's largest nursing union says the changes will cause chaos for the NHS. Residents in Leighton Buzzard say the Church of England hasn't acted quickly enough to prevent neglected horses from dying on their land. The newly introduced law on fly grazing means abandoned horses can now be dealt with by the landowner. In sport, Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for Argentine winger Diego Perotti with Italian side Genoa. And in cycling, Germany's Lisa Brennau won the Women's Tour after finishing fourth in yesterday's final stage from Marlow to Hemel Hempstead. The weather, some rain this morning, sunny this afternoon, but still with a chance of heavy showers, a maximum temperature 18 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
A lot of people playing with their private parts this morning whilst talking to me.
I mean, really. Thank you, Simon. Hey, we're 2 hours down, first show of the week. That's not bad. Busy show this morning. Have you ever died? These a lot of questions for you, okay? We're going to carry these questions over the week, and I'm just going to try. We'll get the whiteboard in tomorrow with the pen. We're just going to try throwing loads of questions out and carrying them over the week, okay? Ever died? Ever cut your bum? What's happened to you underwater? Do you work somewhere hot? And who looks old now? Barack Obama does not look old now. Tony Blair don't half look old now. 81333, start your text 3CR. Or you can give us a call, 03459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right, so let's do this red arrows.
Devils.
Red Devils.
Devils.
Who are the Red Arrows then?
The Red Arrows are in the planes. The Red Arrows throw...
Okay.
The Red Arrows are in the planes. The Red Devils throw themselves out
I
of
thought it was unusual for the Red Arrows to be tossing themselves off in the sky.
Well, and when you said that they all clustered round each other, I was thinking, what, in planes?
Yeah,
Hook
okay.
them on the end of the nose.
Okay, thank you. So the Red Devils. This is the most incredible story. Is there any footage of it on YouTube?
There is. I tweeted it earlier on. There's a bit of them actually coming down. And what seems to have happened is, and apparently it's the first time it's ever happened, that the parachutes failed. And so what they did was they got close enough to catch the parachute that was failing. So
one guy's parachute didn't open. And
his colleague grabbed hold of it. And they came down together.
Here we go. Look. And he's grabbed it and he's dragging him over. That's incredible. So they're both going to be going a lot faster than they should be. And he grabs it and... oh my goodness gracious me!
I bet they've talked about what they would do, but never thought they'd have to do it.
Well, they practice it. The guys go, it's something that we certainly practice for, but it's never. They were so. I'm not taking the mick. I'm just trying to illustrate how cool and calm they were after one of their mates nearly crashed into the ground and died.
I wonder if they were that cool and calm when they first came down, though.
Do you know what? I bet they probably were, because those guys are trained. You know, they're not just parachute guys. They're like proper soldiers, isn't it? You know, they're proper tough guys.
I've told you about my mate who's a soldier. He was in the SAS. And he told me about coming under mortar fire at the top of a. They were on top. They were based in this like hotel in Baghdad.
Yeah.
And they were on the terrace on the roof having a beer.
Oh, Baghdad! Those Baghdad hotels. Come on, guys.
They've always got their guns with them at the time. So they started coming under fire. They returned fire. It was all over, and then they finished their beers. I mean, they are. Nuts.
Boozers. They are boozers.
They're
they
nuts
are
and they like beer.
Court boozers. We'll do some texts in a bit. 81333. Start your text 3CR. But before that, last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire over the space of just 2 days, having been carried to the area in the back of a lorry. In one case, the driver called police from the M1. In the other, a group of people was caught running through fields in Toddington. The drivers faced prosecution regardless of whether they knew they were there. Well, Jim Gledhill is the chair of Toddington Parish Council. Morning, Jim. Oh, no, Jim, sorry, you're on that one. Morning, Jim.
Yeah, good morning.
Now, are many residents aware of what goes on at the services at Toddington?
Well, it's a sort of accident of geography, really, isn't it? If the services had been built in Chorlton, these problems would be Chorlton Parish Councils, or if they'd been built up the road at Tingriff, it would be Tingriff, but no, it's us. The service area is the motorway itself is an interesting thing. It's got benefits and it's got disbenefits. It's quite handy if you live here. You can get on the motorway and be away quick somewhere. But when there's a problem on the motorway, then we get our streets jammed up with traffic. The service area itself provides employment for people. But it also is a great blot on the landscape. I don't know if you've ever done it, but if you stand in Luton Road in Toddington and look across the valley towards Harlington, you've got this lovely rolling countryside with green hills and stuff, and right in the middle is this industrial complex. And we've been asking for years, put some trees around it.
Put some trees around it, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, make it, because it spoils it. But nonetheless, it's there. And this question about illegal immigrants or whatever they are, because there's a service area, it's going to affect us.
Are residents concerned? I mean, 17 suspected illegal immigrants were seen running around the fields recently. Are residents worried about this?
To tell. I mean, I've not had very many comments. There's stuff on social media about it, which actually, when I look at it, it's very much like what you put out to start with. I think someone's hijacked it and just posted it. But people do talk about it, but, I mean, it's just that's what happens, isn't it? I don't suppose all these people, had they not got apprehended, would be looking for work in Toddington.
Yes, I suspect that they won't be staying that close to the area. Is there anything that you can do, Jim, as the chair of Toddington Parish Council, apart from, listen to people's concerns?
That's all we can do. It's very hard to know what you can do. You can't plan around these sort of incidents, really. They will happen, unfortunately. People have always been coming to this country one way or another, haven't they? My ancestors probably came across illegally at some point, so people are looking for a better opportunity in life. And I suppose what you can do is to try to make the world a slightly more equal place so people have to do it. But still, it's a problem on the ground when it gets to a community.
Isn't it just, Jim? I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Jim Gledhill, Chair of Toddington Parish Council, 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Enjoy life.
Right, any texts?
Yeah.
Go on them.
In fact, Victoria started hers in capital letters. You got a text.
You got a text. If only there was some way we could...
You got a text.
Oh, thank you.
Morning, just wanted to say thanks for the Mortified Nation link. Watched it at the weekend and laughed, stroked, cried.
Good.
Thanks, Victoria.
If you missed that, it's a brilliant film. It's a documentary. It's on Netflix. You can watch it for free on there, or it's on iTunes. You can buy it for a couple of quid, rent it for a couple of quid, I think. And it's this brilliant event they have in America across the country where adults go and read their teenage diaries. It's heartbreaking, it's hilarious, it's sad, it's uplifting, it's everything. They're doing some in the UK, and we spoke to, it was Dave, wasn't it?
Yes.
From Mortified Nation. We'll get him back on as the event draws closer, I think.
Definitely.
Because he was just fascinating.
I went out and dug out some more stuff at home over the weekend. I found another diary and a load of letters, including the letters from that Italian lad who was trying to get me over there to do unspeakable things.
If you want to, oh, brilliant! We'll have some. If you, hey, listen, guys, if you want to do us a favour, tweet the Mortified Nation people and tell them you heard about them from us, because we want to do more bits and pieces with them. So thank you for that.
Good.
Yeah.
Chris in Bedford says, I've been declared dead 4 times so far.
Oh yeah.
I'm a 51-year-old motorbiker. Most happened when I was a dispatch rider and once on a racetrack. Chris in Bedford.
Yeah. Asking, have you ever died? 03459 455 555.
Turns out people have.
Yeah.
And also, who looks old now? 08459.
Whoa, boily.
3459 455 555.
First time you've done the phone number and you've done it wrong.
I know, well, I will do that, won't I?
I haven't.
I'm no good at maths.
I've done it wrong once.
Biggers.
Big up yourself, Biggers.
Says Jean-Claude Van Damme looks well old now in the beer adverts. Oh, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't look proper. No, he doesn't. He looks older. He doesn't look old now. He looks older. Oh, you could say Jean-Claude Van Damme, JCVD. He looks older, doesn't he? You wouldn't say, he looks old now. Don't work. He doesn't look like an old man.
Biggers, no.
Biggers, no. Biggers, I'm afraid it's a no.
Knockers are better.
It's the best I had.
And Peter says, and I think this is a bit cruel, but shall I read it out anyway?
Yeah, you know us.
Nearly died and having to talk to Justin. How unlucky can you get?
Now, guys, come on. That's unfair behaviour, isn't it? 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. So, one of my pet hates is people hogging the middle lane on the motorway.
Yeah. It's got benefits and it's got disbenefits.
You could argue that. I don't see what the benefits are. I can certainly see what the disbenefits are. It's a pain in the bum. Still, I may not be facing that problem in the next few months. That's for another day. A van driver is... Because it's illegal now. They changed the law. It's illegal.
Yeah, not that you'd know.
A van driver is believed to have become the first motorist ever to be convicted in court of hogging the middle lane of a motorway. The unnamed driver, let's call him Tony. Statistically, he's likely to be called Tony, so let's call him Tony.
He might be a Steve.
Could be a Steve. Tony Stevenson. Tony Stevenson was caught in his Citroen Berlingo...
Oh.
At 60 miles per hour on the M62 near Huddersfield.
Where?
Huddersfield.
No, that's not what you said.
What did I say?
Huddersfield.
No, I did not say Huddersfield. Clip it, Kelly,
Clip
when
it.
you're able to. Yeah, do it now, mate. All right.
And then you'll see you were wrong.
No, mate, you'll see. Yeah, exactly. You're going to see that you were wrong.
Anyway, tell me about Huddersfield.
They just give me the heebie-jeebies.
I said Huddersfield.
No, you never.
No, mate, I did. Near Huddersfield, and refused to move into the inside lane when it was free. He was given 5 points on his licence, a £940 fine in what is understood to be the first such conviction since police were given more powers to tackle careless driving in flippin' heck 2 years ago. Police said the van driver caused 6 other motorists to brake and swerve to overtake his vehicle. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, he got the 5 points because he failed to attend court.
Oh,
I see. Listen, if you go to court summons, guys, my tip is go to court. Deal with it. Mano a mano. Or mano a womano, because sometimes, either way.
doesn't mean that. Mano a mano means hand to hand.
Don't be so ridiculous. It means man o a mano.
Mano is not Spanish.
Let's hear a clip of. Have you found it, Kels?
Yeah.
Who's gonna be pwned here?
You.
No. Let's find out who's gonna be pwned here. Is it me or Catherine?
How can I play it to you quicker?
I don't know, mate. Can you slip it in my running order?
Yes, I can.
Slip it in the running order. I'll do a little bit of finger. I've got magic fingers. We've discussed that on certainly on the podcast, possibly on the show before.
Yes.
Steady.
Ad nauseum.
And we'll do it.
So.
Okay, not a problem. We can wait.
Well, I don't know what I want to say.
Nor do I at the moment. I tell you what, we'll do this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M40 towards London, there are long delays from junction 5 for Stoke-on-Church to 3 for High Wycombe East after an accident earlier. In Marlow on the A404, it's slow northbound at the M40 junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout as a result of that too. And also in Bisham on the A404, there are delays southbound between the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout and the Bisham roundabout southbound. That's because the lane's been closed by another accident. In Nebworth on London Road, that's been partially blocked by an incident at Watton Road. The police are there redirecting the traffic. And on the trains, Thameslink services have possible delays between St Albans and St Pancras International. That's because they're making some safety checks on the line. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. It's 8:16. It's Monday, the 22nd of June. I'm feeling slightly discombobulated because JVS has come in like a bouncing puppy. What's got into you, man?
What?
You've come in going, all right. It's only me.
I'm just trying to bring a little bit of happiness into your grumpy Monday morning life.
Flipping unbelievable. You've made me even grumpier. It's backfired. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Lorry drivers in the Three Counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. A motorcyclist has died after a collision near Chalfont St Giles in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning, and Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for winger Diego Perotti from Italian side Genoa. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, yes.
Local and vocal across
really.
beds, hearts and bucks.
Why not?
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Slick.
There's no crossfade. So, before the news, before you bounded in and totally destroyed the vibe of the show, I've got no idea what's got into you. Very poor studio etiquette. One of my first ever TV jobs, I was writing for Paul McKenna. And I was at college. I was 19. It was a dream job. My summer job was writing on a TV show, and me and my friend Michael bounded through the studio, bounded through the control booth, and out the other side. And the producer took us to one side. Didn't like us anyway. Took us to one side and said, "Boys, you've got terrible studio etiquette." And we were like, "Oh,
really?"
No! And I thought, what a rude thing to say, but boy, you have got terrible studio etiquette today.
What? Because I came in happy?
Just bounding in, happy, talking, eye contact.
I'm just saying hello, good morning, trying to be a friendly face in your studio.
Can you, come on, just cut it out.
Just go back to being grumpy.
Please.
Okay.
So, before the news, I was talking about Huddersfield. And what did you reckon I said, Catherine?
I thought you said Huddersfield.
Should we have a listen?
Yeah.
At 60 miles per hour on the M62 near Huddersfield.
Yes, she did say Huddersfield.
Huddersfield. Let's listen again. At 60 miles per hour on the M62 near Huddersfield.
No, come on.
What's your beef? 60 miles per hour on the M62 near Huddersfield.
Where?
Huddersfield. I accept your apology, Catherine.
Hear it.
Oh, your mic's off. No, don't do that behind his back.
Where is Huddersfield?
It's on the M62.
Where is that near? I don't go to the north, really.
You should do. It really is. It's so quaint. It's like the olden days up there. You'd love it. It's like going to a museum of life.
Really?
You're making it worse.
They all wear flares and the shell suits.
Right.
They all swear at their children. The children swear at their mams. They call them mams.
Mam.
Yeah, mum, I've jam butter for tea.
Where is Huddersfield, though?
I don't know, Catherine.
Apparently in Porkshire.
Where?
Okay, well, she's just got a cob on now because she's from up north as well.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yes.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, mum, I've cup of tea for our breakfast, mum, before go down to Spinning Jenny Factory, mum. Oh, mum, Bernie Clifton doing concert, mum. Get us ticket, mum.
You had to mention Spinning Jenny, didn't you?
Get us ticket for Bernie Clifton concert, mum. Max Boyce is coming from Wales.
What?
Yeah. So, what's in your show this morning, Jonathan?
Middle Lane Hoggers.
Oh, in Huddersfield.
Yeah, in Huddersfield. Well,
There we
not
go.
just in Huddersfield, here in Beds, Hearts and Bucks as well. This
Yep.
morning from 9 on the big phone now, I'm going to be asking, is sitting in the middle lane of the motorway really that bad?
Yes, it is.
A driver who sat in the middle lane of a motorway doing just 60 miles per hour has become the first person in the UK to be prosecuted for middle lane hogging. The motorist who failed to turn up to the court hearing was fined a total of £940. A road policing spokesman has said lane hogging causes congestion and inconvenience to other road users. Well, from 9 this morning, I want your reaction to this. Is sitting in the middle lane of the motorway really that bad? If you're on a motorway with loads of lorries, isn't sitting in the middle lane of the motorway pretty much the only thing you can do if you don't want to be going in and out of that is it the inside lane or the outside lane? I'm never sure. If you use the slow lane, you always get in trouble. Why are you staring at me like that?
Now I know why your callers get so angry when they phone up. I'm really just trying to suck it in. But flipping it.
You just gave me the look that I can only imagine a murderer gives moments before they murder someone.
Do you know what I think is best for both of us?
What?
I'm going to stand outside while you do this. I can't be in the studio while you're doing this. You're getting me
Why?
angry. I'm going to stand outside.
What? Because you don't like my question?
You really annoy me. I'm going to stand outside.
Okay.
Then when you've finished...
Then you'll come back in.
Come back in. Can you believe it? He's talking about it's good to...
I think, ladies and gentlemen, I've hit a raw nerve. Well, coming up on this morning's Big Phone In from 9, is sitting in the middle lane of the motorway really that bad? I'd like your views, whether you maybe feel the same way as Iain Lee or completely differently. 03459 455 555. Your call on the Big Phone In from 9. Come back in.
And you should probably go.
I'll
Really?
But if there are lorries,
no,
I mean, what?
There's no justification. I may phone your show up. There's no justification for it. People like you are shortening my life.
Those lorries go very slow, though, don't they?
I'm genuinely furious. We'll have this.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing you can do. Is he serious?
Ban him.
See, normally he comes in and he does all his stuff, and I think, oh yeah, no, fair play, I like that. It's a bit of fun. I don't agree with him, but I'm genuine. It's people like him that shorten my life because I'm sat there going, move over. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's lorries in the way. Well, then you overtake, then you go back, then you overtake, then you go back.
I sing a little song based on Ben and Holly. Too slow, too slow, over you go. Over you go. But they never do. They never do. They never do, Kelly. It's not a laughing matter.
I'm probably going to leave the building straight after the show because
Best that you don't cross paths. I might stick my foot out when he walks past.
I've got to do this.
don't forget we've now changed our phone number.
Hello, thanks for calling.
From now on, to get in touch and have your say, you'll have to dial 03459 455 555. So make sure you save it to your phone so you can chat to Iain, share your opinion on the big phone in.
I was scared. Well, I was robbed twice, once at gunpoint.
Chat to my experts or talk to any of our shows.
Hello, thanks for calling BBC Three Counties Radio.
So remember, from now on, you'll have to dial 03459 455 555 to stay in touch with all of us here at BBC Three Counties Radio.
What was that?
Tony Fisher has tweeted, "Can't believe..." no, I won't. And we've got loads of text and that if you want.
Not now. Residents in Leighton Buzzard, we'll do them after, we'll do them in a bit. Residents in Leighton Buzzard are outraged that the Church of England have allowed 9 neglected horses to die on their land. The newly introduced law on fly grazing means that abandoned horses can now be dealt with by the landowner and gives horse owners 4 days to claim their animals. However, residents say the Church of England, as the landowners, aren't acting quickly enough to prevent these deaths. Well, Jeanette Allen is the CEO of the Horse Trust and is on the Equine Sector Council, who'll help push through this new law on fly grazing, and joins me now. Good morning, Jeanette.
Good morning.
So fly grazing, for those who don't understand the term, what exactly is it?
It comes from the term fly tipping. So basically it's illegally grazing your animals on somebody else's land deliberately.
And is it that big a problem?
It's a massive problem across the UK, and that's why we managed to get cross-party and cross-house support to get the Control of Horses Act England through. We had estimated there was something in the region of 5,000 to 6,000 at-risk horses and ponies in the UK that were being grazed inappropriately or illegally.
Well, who's doing it and why are they doing it? Is it just they can't afford to keep the horses anymore, or they're just bored of them, or what?
Well, I can't possibly understand what's going on in the mind of an irresponsible owner who feels they want to do this. I think the most obvious conjecture is money. There has been a big loophole in the original 1971 Animals Act that is to protect your prize bull. So if your prize bull, Farmer Giles, goes wandering off and it lands on Farmer Bill's field, Farmer Bill has to hold on to it and care for it for a couple of weeks until you can find where your bull is. And then if you don't find him, then Farmer Bill gets to sell your bull, but has to hold on to the money because that bull is worth money. So that's what the Animals Act was designed for. Unfortunately, it's become a loophole through which very low-value animals, these ponies are worth no more than £5 in a market.
Right, yeah.
So you put those on someone else's land, they get 14 days of, by law, having to be cared for by the landowner, free grass. They then get sold through a market because, again, the law said must be sold at market. You buy them back for £5 a head.
Oh, isn't that clever?
Yeah, and if the local authority have done it, they've had to microchip and passport that horse to put it through a market. So the horse is now worth more, and you haven't had to pay to keep it. So that was the loophole that people have been
So that's been tightened. In this situation with the Church of England, I mean, are they legally obliged to do something, or is it that they just can do something easier now?
They can do it a lot easier now. So they're not obliged to do it. If they want to let someone graze their animals on their land, then they can do. But if those animals are there without permission and they're just being put there, they are still the landowner's responsibility. The health and welfare of those animals is the landowner's responsibility. And that's why it's been so important that farmers, the Countryside Alliance, all sorts of people came together with the horse sector to say, we can't have this. We can't be responsible for other people's animals. It's not fair.
What exactly should the Church of England in this situation, or anyone in this situation, be doing? Because they've not asked for it. You know, it's not. No. They don't want this problem. What should they be doing?
Well, what they should be doing is making sure that the animals' health and welfare is protected. So they need to make sure that there are no breaches of the Animal Welfare Act, and the animals have the 5 freedoms, as they're called. So they have the right food, the right access to medical care, the right access to behave normally, to water and to appropriate shelter or groups. And unfortunately, what we definitely know in this field is they don't have the right access to medical care because the horses that have been dying through parasite infections. So worms have been killing them. And worm is a pretty basic piece of horse maintenance.
It sounds like an absolute mess. We'll follow this story closely. And Jeanette, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. It's Jeanette Allen, the CEO of the Horse Trust. 03459 455 555.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now this is nice. This is nice. Thank you, Paul. Earlier on, I played a jingle from a kid. Right, sight unseen. I thought it's a jingle from a kid. It'll be nice.
Yeah, of course it will.
It was this. Oh no, hang on a second. I've turn my fader off. Hang on. Here we go. It was this. Okay.
Iain Lee, you're an idiot.
Ouch.
You can hear an adult laughing there.
Yeah.
All right. Paul, I said, listen, if you want your kids to send in jingles for the show, please do. Paul has sent in one. Iain has requested, here's my son Wilson's jingle effort. Sight unseen, Paul. Thank you. Let's have a little listen to this. Here we go.
You are listening to Iain Lee.
Oh, thank you,
BBC Three Counties
Thank
Radio.
you, young man.
What an idiot.
Oh, you are...
ouch.
That is bang out of order. Kids, can you stop calling me an idiot?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M40 towards London from junction 5 for Stokenchurch to 3 for High Wycombe East because of an accident earlier. It's also causing delays on the A404 northbound past the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout. On the A404 southbound though, between the Bisham roundabout and the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout, there's a lane closed because of another accident and emergency services are there. In Bedford it's slow on the A6 between Manton Lane and Oakley Road, and in Nebworth, London Road is looking really slow because there's an emergency service incident at Station Road. All the lanes have been reopened, but it's just still looking very busy at the moment. On the train departure boards, the 8:35 service from Stevenage to Moorgate has been cancelled. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Bedfordshire Police is launching a new working structure today following the failed bid for more funding from council tax. Outgoing Chief Constable Colette Paul has described it as her legacy to Bedfordshire. A motorcyclist has died after a collision in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. The man in his 70s was riding a Honda which was in collision with a Ford Fiesta just before midday on the A413 Amersham Road, just outside Chalfont St Giles. And lorry drivers in the three counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. Last week, over 30 suspected illegal immigrants were arrested in Bedfordshire over the space of just 2 days.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Watford are set to break their transfer record after agreeing a £7 million fee for Argentine winger Diego Perotti with Italian side Genoa. If the 26-year-old agrees to move to Vicarage Road, it will eclipse the £3.25 million paid for Nathan Ellington back in 2007. Elsewhere in football, England under-21s beat Sweden 1-0 to keep alive their European Championship hopes, and England play Norway tonight in the last 16 of the Women's World Cup. Lewis Hamilton leads Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg by just 10 points in the Formula One World Championship after Rosberg beat the Hertfordshire driver in the Austrian Grand Prix. Hamilton was on pole, but Rosberg passed him at the start, leaving the Stevenage World Champion with plenty to think about ahead of the British Grand Prix at Silverstone in a fortnight.
Positioning is everything here. If I kept position, which I worked hard for on the Saturday, I think I would have been able to maintain it, but that was kind of out my hands really at the start, and so I'm going to try and work as hard as I can to rectify it.
The American Jordan Spieth has won the US Open Golf 2 months after winning the Masters. The 21-year-old finished on 5 under to become the youngest winner of the US Open in 92 years after fellow American Dustin Johnson 3-putted on the last hole. Andy Murray won his 4th Queen's Club title, beating Kevin Anderson in straight sets. Earlier, Murray had to finish his rain-delayed semi-final with Wimbledon just a week away.
I need to make sure I use the next 7 days as best as possible. You know, it's been a long few months, and I need to make sure I take a day or two off and then use the preparation as best as I can, because I want to continue playing this way through Wimbledon, and I need to keep practicing hard, train well, and see what happens in a couple of weeks, but I'm looking forward to it.
And in cycling, Germany's Lisa Brenner won the women's tour after finishing 4th in yesterday's final stage from Marlow to Hemel Hempstead. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, last 30 minutes of the show. We've just thrown out so many phoners that we're going to do them all week. Let's try and remember what we can. What's happened to you underwater? Ever cut your bum? Who looks old now? Have you ever died? Do you work in a hot place? That was it? Was there anything else?
I think that covers it, doesn't it?
Okay.
Have you ever been to Huddersfield?
Have you ever been to... stop it, mate. Kiri's on the line. Good morning, Kiri.
Morning, Ian. How are you?
I can't believe... Kids these days, this bro, did you hear those stroppy kids?
No.
Oh, well, listen to this muppet called Wilson. Hang on.
You are listening to
Sounds like a nice
Ian
guy.
Lee, BBC Three Counties
Trojan
Radio.
horse.
What an idiot.
Trojan horse. And then you got this muppet as well.
Ian Lee, you're an idiot.
You can hear an adult voice there. You can hear an adult voice there. When I find out who that adult is, I'm going to take them to court and I'm going to sue them. I'm going to sue them for everything they've got. Their house, their business, their car. I'm going to make sure that child gets taken off them. And I'm going to find, if they've got like a wife or something, I'm going to find their wife, not mention the court case, and I'm going to make that wife fall in love with me so that they lose their wife as well. I'm going to do all of that. I've not finished, Kiri. I'm going to do all of that because nobody encourages their child to record messages for me that are abusive. I've finished now.
Oh, good.
There we go.
My husband died and was brought back to life.
Oh, I'm glad that sentence continued. Your husband, are we asking, have you ever died? How, why, what, where and when?
About 6 months ago, he hadn't been feeling very well. We'd been out for dinner. And then on the way home, he was driving, and he said, you need to drive, I don't feel well. So I took over the driving. Anyway, we didn't realise that he'd had a heart attack. The next day, felt really bad in the morning. In his wisdom, decided to drive himself to the hospital.
Yeah.
And they said, your heart rate is going, like, really, really fast. If we don't stop your heart and just stop everything, you'll have a stroke.
Oh, it's like it is literally like turning a computer off and then turning it on again, isn't it?
Yeah,
You've got to reset it.
Yeah, they turned everything off and kept him for about a minute, and then they restarted his heart. Oh, and then his heart rate was back to normal again.
How did they... I've got to ask a question.
Uh-huh.
How did the hospital kill your husband? What do they do? Is it drugs? Do they pull the battery out? What do they put their finger on the reset button? What do they do?
They give him an injection, which just stops everything, and they just said you'll feel really drowsy.
You'll feel dead.
And then they give him another injection, and that's it. They just stop everything. And I said, wait for a minute, and literally reboot him, and then kept him in overnight. Yes.
Man alive. Yeah, he woke up, he could speak Chinese. Flipping. And was he there on his own?
Yeah, I didn't. He rang me afterwards because it happened so quickly. He rang me afterwards, just thought I'd let you know I died. And I was like, what? And he said they stopped my heart. So we all rushed down there, and they think it was brought on through a chest infection, the heart attack.
It wasn't the food or anything. It wasn't a bad meal he'd had that had killed him.
No, and so it was a chest infection, and he's fine now.
Once they restored his factory settings, was he better? I mean,
yeah,
at everything.
Everything just went back to normal.
Was it complete factory restore? And had he forgotten some things that you then had to remind him of again, or you had to reprogram him, or he was back to how he was?
No, still don't know how to cook. Still don't know how to work the dishwasher.
Did he do all that nonsense that people who've died? Listen, people, if you've died and come back to life, that's quite an interesting story. You don't have to make up the stuff about the white light and the long path and Nana being there. Did he give you any of that dribble?
No, not at all, nothing. Because my son even said to my Daddy, "What did you see?" And he went, "No, nothing at all."
Yeah, well, there's proof that heaven doesn't exist. Proof if need be.
Yeah. So.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. In that case, Kiri, it means that we can't hook you up with Justin Dealey any sooner. But I'm assuming Justin's number 2 on your list, is he? Once the old man does go.
No, Justin's still number 1. Sorry.
Oh, look out, husband!
I think your husband just had another heart attack, Kiri. Thank you, and I'm glad that's all well and good. So, we're going to give you an injection that's going to kill you. Don't worry. It's like Flatliners. They were playing Flatliners. Imagine Kiefer Sutherland saying, "Don't worry, we'll bring you back."
Start seeing that girl on the train called him fish face.
It would be tempting, wouldn't it, as you're doing the injection, saying, I'm going to go out for a wee. I'll be back in a minute. Don't do anything, Shall we bring him back or not bother? Imagine that, getting an injection to die.
Good job, Justin Dealey wasn't on the scene at that point.
Andy's on the line. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, Ian.
And what have you got for us, Andy?
Oh, I think, Ian, that there should be a poll to decide whether you are an idiot, because obviously the children think you are, and they're very perceptive, So I think Justin should go on the street with the question.
Well,
Yes?
well, Andy, let's put it to you.
Yes?
Do you think I'm an idiot?
Well, I'm not going to say because...
Well, no. You can't suggest we have an Iain Lee idiot poll without casting the first vote, Andy.
All right, well, I don't think you're an idiot. I think you're very off the wall, but I don't think you're an idiot.
Okay, well, congratulations. You
That's quite good, actually, isn't it? That's quite good.
That saying he's off the wall is like saying he's different. It's like what my mum says when she doesn't like my dress. It's different.
Michael Jackson was off the wall, and we all want to be like Michael Jackson. Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Andy, so you're saying I'm not an idiot?
No, I don't think you are, no.
No, that's great. You can carry on listening. No, kids these days, these little so-and-sos, these little shoes, they are indicative of what's wrong with this once great country, Andy. It's these... One day, one of those kids... Well, I was going to say they could be Prime Minister. They won't. They'll be milkmen at best. No disrespect to milkmen. But, one will probably end up printing T-shirts or something. No disrespect to T-shirt printers, but come on, guys. Anyone can do that job. Those guys are what's wrong with this country, Andy. And, I'm against national service, except for those two boys.
Yeah, well, kids always... when there's someone who's quite... Well, famous, as I should say.
Thank you.
Kids always want to have a go at
Don't they just? They just... I'm like that... this is what this is like. That woman that wanted to have a lady on a pound note. What's her name? Caroline... Duende Coade.
Yes.
Criado Perez.
Caroline Coade Duende, right? That lady, right? Yeah, I know the word duende.
Yeah.
I know the word duende.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah, duende.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah, I do know exactly what duende means. Of
Tell
course I
me.
do. Okay, it's easier to give you an example. All right.
I didn't know you knew about Cante Hondo.
I don't know about Cante Hondo, but I know that duende. Duende is like a. It's you can't put into words. It's like a sort of moment. It's a
spirit.
Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, Andy has got this show at times has got duende. Isn't it though?
I can't believe you're doing a flamenco reference.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. Andy, anyway, those, I'm like, basically, they are cyberbullying me, and they are publicly shaming me. And do you know what? I'm turning the tables, and I'm going to shame and humiliate those kids. Hang on a minute, that probably will get me in trouble. Andy, you're just making things even muddier, so thank you very much indeed. 03459 455 555. Let's go straight to the Texas.
Duende, eh?
Yeah, duende.
Get you.
Thank you. I know stuff.
I'm actually almost impressed.
Duende.
Marco in St Albans. At 11 months, I stopped breathing and was declared dead for 5 minutes by a doctor on the side of the road. Wow, there's a story in here, Marco, that we're missing. They say that when a truck drove by, I gasped in the air and came back. Wow, Marco in St Albans. Phil's talking about the horses being left to die.
Oh, yeah.
He said if we ate horse meat in this country, the mistreatment of horses wouldn't happen.
So if we did what?
If we ate them.
No, that's fair enough. I don't see a problem with it. You know me, now I eat meat. Did it have a face on it? Yes, I will ram it down my throat.
I've eaten horse.
Chewy, I bet.
Not really, no. It was just meat. Lisa in Leighton Buzzard says it's travellers dumping the horses in Leighton Buzzard. It's been going on for years and it's a disgrace. I mean, that's the suspicion, isn't it?
Have a look at... Sorry, I've just seen this advert, this story in this is what a load of nonsense. Beer company makes light of child abuse in advert for dads. You've seen
I bet
this?
they don't.
A beer brand was forced to apologise last night after being accused about joking about child abuse to sell pints on Father's Day. A post on the official Twitter page for London Pride, not the gay one, the boozy one, although they, sparked a backlash. Right. It was removed after the... I'll do the ad in a second. I'm deliberately missing out the line. It was removed after users on the social networking site bombarded the account with outraged messages and threats to boycott the beer. Environmental campaigner Paul Steadman from Brighton, flippin' heck. He's an environmental campaigner from Brighton. That's 2 strikes, 1 more and you're out. Well, here comes the 3rd strike. Wow. Used to love a pint of pride, but now you're suggesting it's a reward for assaulting my daughter. I'll pass, thanks. And psychologist Rowena Jacka-Jopling demanded that London Pride take the post down saying alcohol and violence towards kids does not need reinforcing.
What they actually say?
I'm going to tell you in a second because he's building it up to something. Twitter user Peter Coles says this is awful. Encouraging parents to hit their children. I'll think twice about buying your beer in the future. London Pride made a full apology. Right, here's the advert. Okay? That encourages parents to hit their kids, that encourages alcohol and violence towards kids, and according to Paul Steedman from Brighton, is suggesting it's a reward for assaulting his daughter. Right?
Go on.
London Pride, for those telling-offs, clips round the ear, raised eyebrows, and that first pint of pride. Hashtag Happy Father's Day.
Wow.
That's brilliant. I mean, you know, I would... well, no, I wouldn't. I've just said I'm going to hit those 2 kids, actually. And I'm going to get drunk before I do it. I mean, guys, really? It's just... oh, flipping heck. We've crossed the Rubicon. Thank you. Duende. We've crossed the Rubicon.
Stop it.
That is ridiculous, isn't it?
Just to show that people on Twitter sometimes wade in.
I never agree with this, but...
I think it's just gone politically correct.
Hasn't it just? I mean, that's... We'll talk about that more in a second. Hang on.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M40, there are delays towards London from junction 6 for Watlington now towards junction 3 for High Wycombe East after an accident earlier on. It's really slow, although all the lanes are open. It's also really busy on the A404 northbound as a result at the M40 High Wycombe Handy Cross roundabout. And on the A404 southbound, there's been a separate accident at the Bisham roundabout, which is causing delays southbound from the High Wycombe Handy Cross roundabout, although all the lanes there are open as well. In Nebworth on London Road, it's very slow after an emergency services incident earlier around Watton Road. And on the A1M southbound, it's slow from Stevenage towards junction 7 for the A602. On the trains, Thameslink services have delays between St Albans and St Pancras International because they're making safety checks on the line. And there's some problems on the London Underground.
Sorry, Sammy, I can't. Sorry,
and the Piccadilly line.
Hang on, stop, Tim. Sorry.
Are suspended between Uxbridge and Harrow on the Hill.
That was inappropriate. I'm sorry. Paul Scoins is a broken record in so many ways. Have you finished, my darling?
Yeah.
Thank you, my darling.
Tasty.
There we go. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, blimey. Oh, sorry, you're doing this. 8:46, Monday, the 22nd of June. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police is launching a new working structure today following the failed bid for more funding from council tax. A motorcyclist has died after a collision near Chalfont St Giles in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning, and lorry drivers in the Three Counties say they're under constant threat from migrants trying to board their lorries. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. We're seeing 1 or 2 sunny spells, but also 1 or 2 showers already starting to develop. And this is the story of the day, really. We will see some brightness, but those showers coming thick and fast as we head further through. They could pop up anywhere and at any time and could be quite heavy later on today. And also we may hear a rumble or 2 of thunder. Temperatures up to 18 Celsius in the good sunny spells, so it's not going to feel too bad at all. Sun sets at 21:25 when it does. Still some showers working their way through, but it will die out, becoming drier. Bit breezy though, but that will prevent the temperature from dropping down too far. 8 Celsius the minimum. Sun rises tomorrow at 04:43. Another dry day, some really nice sunny spells and feeling a bit warmer tomorrow, looking at a max of 19 Celsius. And that's your forecast.
We are asking, one of the phone-ins today is, have you ever died? Right? And I deliberately didn't give it to Justin Daly because I thought, you won't get it. He's in the streets of Dunstable. Have you ever died? I noticed that after this trail for JVS, we've got a 2-minute piece from Justin on Have You Ever Died?
Sometimes in life, things don't always go to plan.
It worked perfectly for 2.5, 3 years till 2 days ago.
He should refund me £1,900.
Which is where we come in.
We managed to get them to agree to come back in to the property on an agreed date.
The JVS show takes on your consumer problems.
I've basically lost the whole lot in administration charges.
And helps to get to the right solution.
I've received a cheque back for £578.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough. I don't know how you do what you do, you and your team.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
You right, Daly?
No, I'm not all right.
Who are you talking to? I can just hear you up.
I'm talking to a squirrel, literally 2 yards away from me. He's staring me out. And now he's just jumped into the bin to go and get something. They are seriously, they are so arrogant here.
In this new,
go away.
I can't, mate. We're doing. I'm here to. Sorry,
I'm doing a radio programme.
In this new studio, we have this thing called pre-fade. It's easier for me to do than it was in the last place. And basically, I just hit a button now, and I can hear what Dealey's up to, right? And so I hit the button, and Dealey didn't know anyone was listening, right? You can hear him having a growler. Good for him. And then you just hear him going, "You squirrels are so arrogant. What's your problem, mate? What's your problem?" And he's doing that, and no one's listening to him.
When have you ever known a squirrel to stand literally? He's eyeing me up right now. He's standing literally 2 yards away from me. He's not scared at all.
Chase him. Chase him.
Right, okay, let's do this. Right.
Chase him.
Come on then, son. Oh, he's off now. You see, he's gone. Hey, boss, I've got some breaking news.
Yeah, go on, mate. What's happening?
Okay, you know Blur's song, Country House?
Lives in a house, very big house in the country. Not a very good song, but yes, I know it.
I think it's a good song, actually.
No, it's a rubbish song, mate.
No, it's a good song.
It's a silly song.
It was number one.
Oh, mate, so was Mr. Blobby.
Yeah, okay, I take your point. But that house, it's all about their manager who got them to the very top, then retired to go and live in a house in a very, very big house in the country. That house is in Barton. It's just gone on the market for £2 million. It's on the market.
Should we club together?
Well, either club together or at least go and have a look at it. It's a historic house.
Well, you have to dress up. But the thing is, when you go to look at other people's houses, I haven't done it for ages, actually, but I used to. You have to dress up clothing appropriate. So if you're looking at a horrible house, you dress scruffy. If you're looking at a house like that, you have to wear a morning suit.
Well, let's do that then. I'm up for it if you are.
I am up for anything, geezer. Now listen, have you ever died?
Yeah.
I can't remember where did this come from, Catherine?
From my brain.
Oh. yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, like this fella.
Dad pop. Where did that idea come from?
It came from my brain.
Okay, so it came from our brains.
Yeah.
You've taken it to the streets, Justin.
Yeah.
You've got 2 minutes on this.
I have. Well, you said earlier on that I wouldn't find anybody who had died and then come back. You're wrong. It's not just people I found who have died and then come back, it's people in their family as well. We have 2 minutes of audio from the streets of Dunstable about that very subject. Boss, here's what happened. Catherine, you became very sick, very poorly, after you gave birth to your first child. We think that you died and then came back again. Tell us what you experienced. Tell us what you saw as well.
Well, it was like a dark tunnel and there was a light at the end of it. I remember that. Oh, I often think about it. I'm glad I am alive. I've had a good enough lifetime.
And this was a really bad fever that you got many years ago after you had your first child.
Fever. I had a temperature of 105, and so I had a very high fever. And the doctor said I had a 50-50 chance.
John, didn't happen to you, but it happened to your dad. How long did your dad die for?
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yes.
When did this happen?
8 years ago.
And what happened?
He just dropped out of the blue.
And they said to him, you were definitely dead
Yes.
for 20 minutes?
Yes, his heart stopped. And they had to sap him.
Gosh, I mean, how is your dad now? How is he treating life now compared to 8 years ago? Has he changed at all?
Getting on life. He's retired about 5 years ago.
Good for him.
And he's getting on with life. He's gone on holiday. He goes all the way, all the time, and enjoying life.
So he's living life now.
Yes.
Cracking stuff. Right, we'll leave it there and send my best to your dad.
I will do, thank you.
Boss, you died and then come back. You had a massive, massive heart attack. How many years ago was that?
22 years.
Okay. Your life now. compared to then?
Fantastic. I'm telling you now, my life has changed. I'm 69 and I ride a bike, I walk, my car's in the garage.
I mean, how does it feel to be walking the streets knowing that you died and then came back?
Fantastic. You can't beat it. Use the life to the full. That's me.
So before you weren't, now you certainly are.
Yeah.
It's changed it.
Right. Yeah, not much.
Not much.
There you go, boss. You said nobody would have stories. There you go. Three of them.
I'm sorry for doubting your powers,
It's
Justin.
all right. That's not a problem. It's not a problem. I have this special power where I just know, like that man there, he was the first person I spoke to. I said, sir, you're going to have a story. He said, a story about what? Well, the fact that you died and now you're here again. Well, funny you should say that, and that's how we started.
I see dead people who've come back to life. Well, Justin, OK, you've set a very high... It's only Monday.
Yeah.
You've set a very high standard. I'm really going to have a think tonight about what we can get you to do tomorrow then.
Oh, please.
Yeah?
All right, boss. I'm up for it, yeah.
Ta-ra, see you later.
Take care, bye.
Ta-ta. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. Catherine, we got any texts?
Yeah, our regular Vex texter.
Yeah.
I continue to listen to the show in the hope that you will drop all the banality and smutty innuendo and the ever-increasing use of bad language, but it just gets worse.
Yeah.
I think she means bum. You're all articulate and intelligent, so why not have a show that reflects this? Janet.
No, well, why keep listening, Janet? I mean, we appreciate your concern. It ain't going to change,
It's as if you enjoy being annoyed.
And that's great, and that's fine if that's what that's doing. Dig it, enjoy it, embrace it.
We've also got people who look old now.
Yeah.
This is from John.
People that look old now.
Yvette Fielding. Oh, I saw her on Celebrity MasterChef.
Yeah, she does look old now.
And that skinny geezer from Status Quo. Do you mean Francis Rossi?
Yeah, Francis Rossi. Francis Rossi does look old now.
He always looked old, though.
No, but he always looked of a certain age.
It's because of the ponytail.
But he looks really old now. Yeah, I'll have that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, true what you say, John. Thank you.
We're carrying these over all week. We're going to try just carrying stuff over for a week and see. We'll keep adding to it as well. By the way, if you've got any things that you think could work as a phone-in, go and do your own radio show, you slackers. No, I mean give them to us. And also, listen, we've had some stroppy little so-and-so sent. Listen to this.
Iain Lee, you're an idiot.
I mean, we've had that, and then we've had.
You are listening to Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. What an idiot!
Unbelievable, right? And I'm going to. By the way, if you recognise those voices, if you could just let me know their addresses, please. So I can pass it on to the authorities. If you've got young people in your house that want to record little jingles or links that don't call me an idiot and aren't disrespectful to someone who's older than them, then you can email them to me, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk, if you wouldn't mind, please. Thank you very much.
It's as if the parents are putting them up to this.
Well, you say that, I don't know. I think, in the first one you can hear the parent doing it, but also kids these days, they're so computer savvy. It is bad parenting. I mean, that's what's done it. It's bad parenting, but... ultimately, it's the kids' responsibility.
Broken Britain, isn't it?
Oh, completely.
Broken Britain.
Makes me want to puke. Let's cheer ourselves up.
Fantastic.
There we go. We're back in the room.
I think you're about to get a caller.
Oh, isn't that
Stan on Fader 2?
It's Stan on Fader 2. Good morning, Stan.
Good morning to you, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, Stan. What you got for us?
Well, all I was saying that I do live in Milton Keynes, but we're in the middle of a field at the moment at Bloxham near Bunbury, getting ready for next weekend's steam rally.
Oh, the old steam rallies. I get stuck behind that lot when I'm driving sometimes. Move on.
Yeah. No, you know what it is. It's lovely, really. Just remember the old times and how they used to be.
Well, what? Slow.
Excuse me.
That's it. Go and cough it up. Spit it out. Don't swallow it. Don't swallow that one. That's going to make
bit croaky this morning.
A little bit croaky. So, what is your connection with the steam fair then?
Well, we belong to we are a member of the society that runs it actually.
Oh, okay, okay.
What we actually do, we do exhibit a fairground organ.
Huh? You do the what?
A fairground organ.
Oh, okay. A calliope?
It's the old
kaleidoscope.
No.
What's it called? Calliope?
No. It's a fairground organ that's run on
steam,
bellows and reeds and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's called. What's it called? It's got a word. Catherine, I'm looking at you as the one that normally fills in the blanks for me.
I'm not an organ specialist. Why are you looking at me?
You love organs.
Not that kind.
Isn't it called a calliope?
No.
Come on, guys, back me up on this. It's called a calliope.
The smaller ones, the smaller ones that are hand-turned are sometimes called a hurdy-gurdy.
Hurdy-gurdy mushroom man has locked me in his frying pan. Don't want to get out of bed today. Calliope. Calliope.
Yeah, is a musical instrument that produces sound by sending gas, steam, or more recently compressed air.
I've taught you something, Stan. It's a calliope.
Yeah, calliope.
You claim to be an expert, and yet I know more.
Could that be the word of the day then?
It can be, Stan, it can be the word of the day. If you can slip your calliope into a conversation, better than slipping your organ into something, then you're going to have a successful day. Stan, thank you very much indeed. I hope the steam fair is a big success. I know my boys would absolutely love it, but they've been so naughty the last couple of days, they ain't never going to anything ever again.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 northbound, a vehicle's broken down between junction 12 for Flitwick and 13 for Bedford, so that means the lane's closed and it's causing some delays. The M40 towards London has queues from junction 6 for Watlington to 3 for High Wycombe East after an accident earlier, although all the lanes are open. But on the M14 northbound at junction 6 for Watlington to junction 7 for Tame, a vehicle's caught fire, so that's causing it to be very slow as well northbound. The A404 southbound at Bisham's very slow from the Bisham roundabout, from the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout to the Bisham roundabout. That's because of another accident which has partially blocked the road. On the train, Southern have delays between Milton Keynes Central and Clapham Junction, and also Thameslink are reporting possible delays between St Albans and St Pancras International. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. What's the weather going to be like? I wasn't listening to the weather once today. I mean, is it going to be... It doesn't matter. The kids are going nowhere. They have been such little... all weekend. Flippin' heck. Right. JVS is up next. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Monday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone In, is sitting in the middle lane of the motorway really that bad? A driver who sat in the middle of a motorway doing just 60 miles per hour has become the first person in the UK to be prosecuted for middle lane hogging. The motorist who failed to turn up to the court hearing was fined a total of £940. A road policing spokesperson has said lane hogging causes congestion and inconvenience to other road users. Well, this morning I want to hear from you. Is sitting in the middle lane of the motorway really that bad? Pick up the phone, come on and have your say. Tell me your stories on 03459 455 555.
This is the JVS show
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'll take your call in just a second, but first let's get the latest BBC News at 9 o'clock. Here's Simon Oxley.
The headlines: new working structure for Bedfordshire Police, motorcyclist killed in Buckinghamshire collision, and Watford agree club record fee for Argentinian winger.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire Police is launching a new working structure today following the failed bid for more funding from council tax. Outgoing Chief Constable Colette Paul has described it as her legacy to Bedfordshire. More from Lee Agnew.
The Chief Constable says the new structure combines the traditional values of community policing with a new technology-enabled way of working. The new system will be complete by early next year, with Police Commissioner Ollie Martins insisting that neighbourhood teams will be more visible to the public. But he admits it's not enough and says another 300 officers are needed. A Home Office task force is visiting Bedfordshire next month to investigate how the force is run.
A motorcyclist has died after a collision in Buckinghamshire yesterday morning. The man in his 70s was riding a Honda which was in collision with a Ford Fiesta just before midday on the A413 Amersham Road just outside Chalfont St Giles. Police are appealing for witnesses. A man accused of murdering student Marcus Hall in Luton 14 years ago is due to appear in court today. 38-year-old Adebayo Ekun was extradited from Nigeria following his arrest in February, and a